That leg. Oh my god, that leg. I like that leg. Leg.
Boom. Perillo.
Lickworthy. Ooh, Sniff-worthy. Harry Potter guy. Star Wars guy. Hashtag Planet of the Apes guy. Out of box collector guy. Predator guy. Hashtag Alien guy. Hashtag Nerf guy. Hashtag
Feet guy.
Hello, I am here. Welcome to Bagging and Boarding Hangout. Let's see if anyone will actually jump on. I'll quickly shout out the one person who dropped in. What's going on, Tyler? I miss your face. Hello from Indiana, where all the cornfields are. There is the link if anyone wants to jump on and hang out. Feel free to. Just no dongs allowed. All right. When I say dong, that means you're not allowed to whip out your junk, because that happens sometimes. All right, so I've got some bags and boards. I've had these bags and boards sitting here for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then I've had books piling up for probably over a month that just need to be bagged and boarded. What's going on, John? Link is there if you want it in the chat. So yeah, I'm finally going to bag and board these books. I've been like the fact that I've got so many unbagged and boarded books around me also gives me anxiety to read. Like, just half the stuff I want to read is still just sitting there raw in a pile. What's going on, Ben? Yeah. Someone else said that. I can't remember. I think it was Grey Man said Predator guy probably isn't the best hashtag. Yes, I realized that, but I'm not known for smart decisions. So yes, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to unbox this. Actually, since you're here, Tyler, I want to show you this thing that I've recently been trying to collect my Star Wars Black Series. I've been trying to collect the Rebels characters, but not the re-release that's coming out recently. I'm going to share my screen here for a second, but I've been trying to collect the old animated versions of the characters. So I got pretty much all the characters now except for Chopper. And let me try to share my screen here. I want to show this heartbreak story I've got here. How come I can't? How do I do this? Huh? Is that it? Okay. So check this out, right? So there's my figures. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Look at that. It all connects except, wait, you can't see the mouse, can you? Except the gap here is where Chopper goes. So I've been wanting to get Chopper. Chopper's really expensive, but they're actually re-releasing Chopper soon to go with the Ahsoka stuff. But the crazy thing is they're actually re-releasing Chopper not in Ahsoka packaging, but the Rebels packaging. So this dude I know, Michael, let me know. He's like, it's okay. They're re-releasing Chopper with the Rebels packaging. I was like, no way. I don't have to spend $200 on aftermarket prices. What's going on, Matt Spidey? 10 minutes up the road. Does that mean you're going to be on later? So I'm like, cool. I'll wait for the new re-release of Chopper, and he'll slot in right in that gap between Zeb and Ezra, right? And then I'll have a full set. It's going to look amazing. And then last night I discovered this. Wait, that's the wrong screen. I discovered this. So if you can see here, this is where Chopper's supposed to go, but the new Chopper goes over here. And I'm really, really upset about it. I literally haven't stopped thinking about it for like the last 24 hours. But anyway, I just wanted to share that amongst the people who have been following my toy journey. Anyway, oh, my Wi-Fi is getting really shit. That's not good. Anyway, the link is there. How do I pin that? I don't know how to pin a comment. But anyway, the link's in the comments if anyone wants to join. Hopefully someone will eventually. My mate Sean said he was going to jump on. And also let me know if my Wi-Fi sucks, because it says I've got one. It says my connection is unstable right now. Of course it is when I'm doing a stream. Anyway, first we're going to unbox this. It is my bags and boards. What brand do you guys use? Let me know in the comments or the chat. All right. This better not be 3 hours of me by myself. I can only talk to myself for so long. StreamYard guy. That's me. That is me. I'm on StreamYard and I'm a guy. And I use lots of hashtags. All right. So what did I... Ooh. Free divider. Yeah, baby. All right. Ooh. Note. Who writes a note? Thanks, Simon. Cheers, Alan. Thanks, Alan. So, man, bags and boards are out of control of how hard they are to get right now. I went to the usual website to order them. They're gone. Then I even went to the Enemy. I was going to buy bags and boards from the Enemy, but bags people have, but current boards just like there's like a shortage. Yeah, right. Oh man, like I'm so upset because I was originally going to buy the old one. Like originally I was going to buy the re-release, and then my friend said, "No, you want the boxes to connect." I was like, "Yeah, I do want the boxes to connect." So I was like, "Oh, fuck. I'll just fork out $150, $200 to get it." And then my friend Michael was like, no. The new re-release has the Rebels packaging. I was like, oh, man, that's so awesome. I'm so relieved. And then to find that out really hurt my feelings. But I'm just going to buy the re-release. That's what's going to happen. I'll always have a gap between Ezra and Zeb. And anyway, so I normally buy my bags and boards from a place called Iconic Comics. It's not the easiest word to say, but Iconic Comics. They had nothing. I went to every website I could find, and then I randomly found this website, and I was a little bit sketchy because I was like, who the hell are these guys? They're called Preserver Heaven. So shout out to Preserver Heaven, who actually had current bags and boards. Hopefully they sent the right ones. Oh, actually, that's funny. I actually bought BCW ones. I normally buy Ultra Pro, but I actually bought holy crap, look who's in the house. What's going on, Paolo?
What's up, Simon?
Long time no see. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm between jobs again, so I'm good.
Between jobs, really?
Yeah, I gone back to the gig economy for a while.
Okay. Wait. So, what are you doing?
I was in the bank for 6 months. But right now I'm trying to get back into publishing. So
yeah, because that's what you were doing, right?
Yeah. So the country stopped selling newspaper, just fired 50 people, and stopped their car magazine. So it's not easy.
Magazines don't really exist anymore, right? I mean they do. I'm actually shocked to see them in the supermarkets, but like I used to love buying magazines, but I can understand why they barely exist anymore. So it'd be rough. But doesn't everyone just write for like websites and things now?
That doesn't pay much.
Yeah. Okay. What do you get paid per word or something?
No, they try to get. They want you to work 9 hours a day, but for half of the minimum wage.
How can you write for 9 hours a day? Are you supposed to write like 20 articles?
Yeah, in many cases you do. They just want you to do bulk volume.
Oh, okay. That sounds rough.
Yeah, that's why they mostly hire people straight off college.
Weren't you writing for like? Does that have something to do with cars or something like that?
Yeah. I still write for an electric car magazine. In fact, I have to write something I have to write something today because today's the deadline for sending text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a test drive, so it's one of the big texts.
So I'm actually, I guess I'll break it now since not many people are going to watch this because I just filmed my video before, which I'm going to release in a couple of days. But I got a new job.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to be working for a car company, sort of, not car company, a car audio company. So, yeah, that's exciting. But I haven't started yet. I'm starting next week. So we'll see how that goes. See how long that lasts, maybe. All right.
Yeah. Getting a car stereo is not something that people do anymore because the sound system comes integrated into the car nowadays. It all comes together with the navigation system and all the car's electronics, so you can really replace it.
Where I work, we used to sell car audio, and we don't anymore because obviously it's a dying market. But when we were selling it, there was this one customer who used to come in, and he was a car installer. So every time we had a sale, like a big sale, he'd come in and clean up. Like I literally would sell this guy like 3 trolleys worth of stuff because he'd buy it for himself and then sell it to his customers because he was installing it for customers.
Yeah.
But last time I saw him, I was like, "How's business?" And he said, "Not good," because no one wants this stuff anymore. The cars come with better stuff than this now. So, but it's always going to be around, I think, because it's more of a niche market though now. Because there's always going to be people who like older cars and things like that. So
there's a a big trend in classic cars, which is resto mod, which is when you had a lot of modern flair to classic cars, and in some cases you even do an engine swap and install an electric engine into your old car.
Oh, really? You can do that?
Oh yeah, you can. It's not cheap, and some people say it's sacrilegious. I mean, you have a 1963 Jaguar E-Type, and then you install an electric engine in it. You shouldn't.
Where's Sarah? Sarah she's not here right now. She'll probably be back later. I liked the finale, but I wanted more. I guess I'll say that. We're going to do a video next week with Mark, I think, talking about the show. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, because Mark hated it. Mark hated Ahsoka. Although every week for the last 2 months, Mark's been telling me how much he hates Ahsoka. So I said, all right, next week we'll talk about it, because the show would have finished. And then he said, oh, I better binge watch it then. I was like, haven't you been watching it every week? And he goes, no, I've just been watching highlights on YouTube. I'm like, he's been trashing it for 2 months and he hasn't even watched it properly. What's going on, Brendan? Why are you going part-time, Simon? Because I got a part-time job somewhere else. And no, she's watching Heathers again, I think, in a couple of weeks. Hi, Sean.
How you going, buddy?
Hey, hello again.
Hey. Twice in a few days.
Exactly. Yeah, Zars was in a Bub's stream, and I gate crashed it.
Where was Bub's stream? Oh, was that when he did his bagging and boarding stream?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I saw that the other night, but it was like midnight. I was about to go to bed, and I was like, man, I've been plugging this. I've been telling everyone I was going to do a bagging and boarding stream, and then he did one. I was like, how dare you steal my idea? How was that? He said he was only going to go beyond for like half an hour or something, didn't he? Did he end up going for hours?
50 minutes.
Okay. That's a pretty long game. He doesn't go live very long.
Yeah, he had his parents coming.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think his parents live in the same town as him or something now.
Yes, they moved closer, I think.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. I got a McFarlane figure to unbox.
Oh, really? What is it?
Green Arrow.
Oh, I can't tell. I thought it was Red Arrow. I've got... Which version is that? I've got the actual movie version of him. Everyone gave it to me.
This is... Doesn't exactly say. Green Arrow Injustice 2.
Okay.
Game version.
I will not reveal where I work. I won't say it on my YouTube channel anyway. I never want to say where I work on my YouTube channel, because as soon as I say that, then,
everyone starts asking for stuff.
Well, no, not that. It's more like I just don't want to,
don't
have
cross the
my
streams
workplace where I work associated with what I do outside of it. So
yeah, don't cross the streams.
That's right. Yeah, don't cross streams. That's right.
No, that's the thing. I mean, you're not an internet celebrity, but there are people who know you. They're just going to bother you at work.
Yeah, and if I say things about work and you don't know where I work, it's better than me saying things about work and then everyone knows. You can't do that. You're in trouble. So, yeah, no, I won't say where I'll be working for, but let's just say, Brendan, where we work, because Brendan works where I work, we used to sell their stuff. So I'll just say that. All right. Books. I've got, man, like literally over a month worth of books. Man, I'm about to discover so many spine rolls. What's that? You got some Disney action.
Yeah,
do you still buy books, Paulo?
Yeah, well, I managed to buy some books this month. I bought volume 3 of the Department of Truth and volume 3 and 4 of Once and Future.
And Moby Dick. And Moby Dick.
And no, that one I've had for a couple of years. And speaking of Moby Dick, are you guys buying the new Conan?
No.
From Titan. Okay,
I bought
so
the first issue because I had the shiny movie variant cover. I bought that.
yeah, so the guy's drawing it, Della Torre, who draws just like John Buscema. So I have a French graphic novel that he drew as well, which is so in France they're doing a Tarzan adaptations of the original Tarzan novels, and this is Tarzan at the Earth's core.
Okay.
Yeah, and the De La Torre is the artist. So yeah, I have a French graphic novel with something that kind of looks like John Buscema, kind of looks like Joe Kubert here.
That's pretty cool.
See?
So that's the same artist that you're saying is doing Conan now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Rob De La Torre.
Yeah, no, definitely not working for Alternate Worlds.
Funny thing is, this is colored by Dave Stewart. So I guess if he wants to get a good paying job, he needs to work with France nowadays.
Yeah, because you have a lot of foreign comics, don't you?
Yeah, well, you can't be a comic book fan in Portugal without knowing at least 2 foreign languages.
Okay.
Otherwise, you always miss out on good stuff. But yeah, so we're pretty close to France, so we do get their stuff. We've always gotten European comics actually, around here.
You'll know this actually because I know you know a lot of stuff. So is it where has the where MJ where Gwen Stacy didn't die? Is it Mexico?
Mexico, yeah.
So are you telling me? Because I always found that story fascinating because I was like, hang on. So she didn't die. So does that mean from that point onwards, the Mexican Spider-Verse went off into a completely different Spider-Verse and completely different stories?
They just kept So at the time there was only Amazing, so there wasn't a problem with maintaining a consistent universe. The Mexican publisher decided that they didn't want to lose Gwen Stacy, so they created their own stories. Spider-Man sold well enough that they could just do that because the point of licensing is that you don't produce usually.
So the crazy thing, so that's what I'm saying. So you told me because obviously before that it was just reprints, right? They're reprinting the American stories. So at that point on, when Gwen Stacy died, you're telling me the Mexican stories were completely different from then moving forward
for many years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where are those stories? What are those stories?
Yeah, they never published them in English. I've seen something that seemed to indicate that the German Marvel publisher was reprinting those in a very thick collected edition. So the Germans are reading it.
The Germans will read anything.
No. Well, the Germans, in spite of their size, the Germans don't have much of an industry, so they mostly read foreign comics. They do have their own comics. We've even had a German Western series. It was published here for a while in the 80s. We got about 4 of their graphic novels, and then they have Fix and Foxy, which is a kids comic. Went on for decades, but mostly they license stuff and publish there. Do you guys know a German channel called Earl Grey?
No.
Okay, so he does videos in Earl Grey. He does videos in English, and he shows off the German editions of both U.S. and French comics, and he talks about them.
Something different.
I bought that first Carnage I've got is a German edition, which I bought off Greyman. Die Spinny something.
Die Spinne.
Actually, I think, something like that. All right, see you, Brendan. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
But I don't usually. but I don't usually buy Marvel comics, Marvel and DC in other countries. Sometimes if I have the opportunity, I will. There was a time when I was buying stuff from Marvel France, Panini, when I went to Paris on assignment, and they were available at the airport, so just pick up a couple of them. But I remember the first time I saw a comic in a language other than my own or the original, because we had U.S. comics here. And there were newsstand. I knew where to get newsstand editions of U.S. comics if I wanted to, but they were way expensive, so I never did. And besides, I didn't want to move forward in continuity because I knew that the local publisher was about 3 years behind. And I never thought that one day I wouldn't have those comics. Then things happened when Marvel went bankrupt. It disrupted the licensing system across the world. But I was in my senior year high school trip. We went to a place near Barcelona, and I went to a newsstand. I was probably going to see if I was going to buy something. I'd already bought a car magazine, but I saw the comics and let me buy these. And I bought an issue of Iron Man, an issue of New Warriors, and an Amalgam JLX in Spanish.
Amalgam.
Yeah, remember Amalgam?
I do.
Yeah.
Sean. So I think it wasn't the first time I met Sean, but it was the first time I kind of became friends with Sean. So Sean has like his own small little convention sort of thing here. So the first time I met Sean was at Big City Comics, and he was putting on that event. So he said to me, "Oh, you should come to the event." I was like, "Yeah, cool." And I was going to film a video there. And then I remember Sean came right up to me. I didn't even know the guy back then, and he gave me a couple, because we did an episode about crossovers, and Sean gave me like a couple of Amalgam comics randomly. He was like, "Hey man, I got these for you." I was like, "Sweet." That was
Now you can buy the rest of the set off me.
The only one I'm kind of wasn't there one. I feel like where they had like Jubilee as like Robin.
What?
Yeah, Dark
Which
Claw.
one?
It was
Oh, is that Dark Claw? Okay.
yeah,
And
Batman
the
and Wolverine.
Adventures of Dark Claw. But
Yeah, which was
there's
based on the fake animated series.
Yeah, there's 24 books in that set.
Mhm.
Uh,
I have Super Soldier Man of War, which is from the second batch, where it's Super Soldier still in World War II.
yeah.
And I have Spider Boy Team Up, the one where it teams up with the Legion of Galactic Guardians, goes to the future.
Yeah.
First boy.
That's a fun one because that was the first time I saw Ladrone art, and I think Ladrone is an amazing artist. He spends so much time drawing all the details.
So I just want to rant at this for a moment. These freaking bags. Some of these books aren't even fitting in these bags. Like they're like some of the slightly thicker books are like really struggling to fit in these bags. Like I literally just tore a bag open because I couldn't. The book was a bit thicker.
Gotta be more gentle with your books, son.
No, I'm just saying, like it literally cannot fit in there because it's.
What bags are you using?
I'm using current BCW, but this is like no way. That's super tight. That's stupid.
That's what I'm using.
The reason, so get this, I don't know why I didn't buy Ultra Pro. They might not have had them because they were really hard to come across these boards, right? But the first time I ever bought BCW boards, I bought current, and the thing that shocked me was square bound books were fitting in these, and they never fit in these, right? They fit easily. And then I bought another set and they wouldn't fit. So someone told me they've got two versions of the current bags, and one of them are like current with a little bit of extra room.
Yeah, that was
and you
me.
can read like the fine print that's like a little bit of extra room.
That was me, son.
Was it you? Yeah. Can you get those for me, please?
I can see if the supplier's got them. Yeah. So,
because I'm going to run out of these. So I bought 100 bags and boards, and I'm going to be out before I'm done bagging all my books. Hey,
yeah, just remind me, and I'll have a look, see what they've got in stock at the moment.
a lot of these books are quite thick these days, and literally like this won't fit in there either. Oh no, that fits in there all right.
Well, I just put a square bound Marvel book in this bag and board, and it just fits in nicely.
I already didn't like snug fit clothing, and now they have snug fit comic bags.
They're gonna have it in everything. So,
well, you know what? There's a lot of people who like, you know, how some people bag everything in Silver Age.
Yeah,
I don't like when there's too much space on each side and the book can move around in there. I want it to be. Like
yeah, but with Silver Age, you can put two to 4 comics in one bag.
Yeah, no one likes to do that except for Grey Man and Metarog and those old guys.
people do that.
What's that?
Said only cheap people do that.
I did when I was running
when you
low on
get-
them. I was definitely doing that.
When you get to be Matarogs and Grey Man's age, you need to save space, so you've already have accumulated too many comics.
Yeah, but that's why you start selling them, like I'm doing. I'm reorganizing my whole collection at the moment, and I'm hoping to cull at least 500 books.
Yeah, I'm. Hey, are you going to go to the next Yarraville?
Not as a seller, I'll probably be going.
Because I'm thinking about hitting up Billy and asking him for a table. I'm not sure because I think it's on a public holiday, and with my new job, I won't have to work public holidays. So
I'm not sure. Do you know if he's doing the Sunday or the Monday?
no, I think it's during the week. It's on Cup Day, which is normally on like
So it's the Tuesday. So he's doing the Tuesday, not the weekend.
yeah, I think so.
If he's doing that, then you don't want to do it alone, do you, Simon?
Why do you want to split a table?
No, I'm saying you don't want to do it alone. You scared to go first time by yourself?
No, we should go. I keep saying, mate, we should go for a hunt. But I need to eventually. I eventually want to try doing a table and selling my books. See what it's like. Experience the, reseller life.
Yeah, but you got to be prepped. You got to have your books priced, bagged, boarded, or whatever you're going to
I
do.
think it'll be fun.
What?
I think it'll be fun doing that, like pricing the books and.
Yeah, but you got to be prepped. The show's in 3.5 weeks. Are you going to have enough time to do that to all your books?
Well, I would probably I wouldn't bring like a whole table of short boxes. I might bring 3 or 4 short boxes and a bunch of toys that I don't need or something like that.
Yeah, but that's still 400 books. Do you have time to sit there and look through 400 books and price them all?
Well, well, maybe I'll have like a dollar bin as well. Anything that's unmarked will be $1.
So, in other words, you're not prepped and you won't be ready.
I might be.
It's up to you. If you want to go for a hunt on the day, I'm happy to. If you want to try and sell, you got to make sure you're prepped.
That's a good point, Nora. If the books take a tumble in these ones, often, the board kind of protects the books, but it depends how bad the fall is. I've definitely copped a few bad corners when I've dropped the book.
I have a comic convention at the end of the month, but over here in Europe, conventions are primarily art exhibits. We don't even have traders. It's the publishers who bring out the books.
You do in Scotland, because I went to a show in Scotland last year in Edinburgh, an actual Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think the Luca Comics Art Festival is going on right now. Because the Luca Festival is the biggest comic convention in Italy, is the biggest comic convention in the world. And I think I saw that either Bendis or Brubaker was going, but they usually have people from all around the world. The people think that San Diego is the biggest comic convention, not by a long shot. The biggest two are Luca in Italy and Angoulême in France, and everybody likes to go to Angoulême.
Yeah, but
I've never been.
San Diego is huge, but a lot of it's not comics.
Yeah. But even at its highest point in comics, it was never as big as Angoulême.
No,
Angoulême takes over the whole city.
Well,
It's exhibits everywhere.
that
You can-
popular because when I was looking for a show last year and I Googled stuff in Europe, that didn't even pop up. So
Yeah, because it's not listed as convention. It's
I tried pop
It's a
culture
festival.
events, I tried comics, I
Yeah, but how often does it
Googled that many different versions of how you could pronounce a show and call it a show and that. And besides you talking about it now, that's the first time I ever heard of it.
okay. Amphib the visitors. How many people usually go there? Well,
When is this con in France?
January.
January.
So we're going, Simon, next year?
In France? No, I'm good.
Why not? Your first show overseas be the biggest one in the world, according to him. Imagine how much footage you get.
But something about the Angoulême Festival, they don't give a shit about Marvel and DC.
You mostly
The
indies.
the,
Oh,
the no
Yeah.
no it's mainstream. The thing is, American comic books have always been a niche in France. So it's very possible that the best-selling American comic is not a superhero comic. They are always doing stuff with Charles Burns and Chris Ware over there. 'Cause they just prefer the Fantagraphics guys.
I remember you filmed some footage at some sort of con that you went to. It was like a There's a
Yeah,
lot of
smaller one
artists
over
there.
here. Yes, smaller one here. I did. I took out some pictures of the exhibits, and they did an exhibit about the Italian comic Tex, which is the longest running the longest running monthly comic in Europe. It's past issue 800 now.
John, I think
Yeah.
every con says that they're the largest con in the world.
Oh no, no. But Angoulême is there because it takes over the entire city. It's not in one central location. You have to walk across the city to get to different places and see different things.
So it's like almost like a festival.
It is a festival. It's officially the official name of Angoulême is the Festival International de Bande Dessinée d'Angoulême.
All right, Simon. So we'll do one thing in Melbourne, one thing in Brisbane, one thing in Perth, and we'll call it
Australia con.
the biggest event in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because you have to fly 10 hours to get from one part to the other.
No. The idea about Angoulême is that you can walk across town. Angoulême is actually not that big. I think it's about 30,000 people in there. So they're, in spite of having that thing for years, they don't have many hotels. So you sometimes have to stay 80 kilometers to sleep, and then you have to take the train to Angoulême. But the train's okay. So I hear. I've never been able to go to Angoulême. The thing is, if you go to Angoulême thinking, I'm probably gonna see if I can buy a couple of books, and then the people tell me, yeah, you're gonna have to ship them out by mail because you just can't take them on a plane.
Man, Sean brought back like
a short box.
Huh?
A short box.
He brought back a short box from Canada.
Mm.
That's really crazy. And what did you put that into checked luggage?
Some of it had to go into checked luggage. Yeah.
That's scary.
I had three piles of books. No, so 2 piles of books about that thick in each luggage, plus another 2 like that in my carry-on. So
that's the problem. I wouldn't be able to I don't know. I'd probably rather just ship them to myself.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pay over $1,000 to get them.
Right. That's ridiculous.
So it would have been cheaper for me to buy another ticket on the plane and put the box on the seat than it would to have shipped it.
Buy another ticket.
They don't let you do that. For objects, you can try, but they won't let you do that.
They'd
You just
have
have to
fun
pay
trying
the
to. They'd
you
have
just have to
fun
pay the
trying
cargo
to
fees.
stop me because I put it on the seat and I paid for a ticket.
You won't even get past the X-ray with that. Well, you can get past the X-ray. You just have to carry the box, but they won't let you in the plane if you show off 2 tickets. Where's the second ticket for?
Yeah.
My box.
This is the second thing in the box.
they're not
That's
gonna.
Yeah, I just watched a video the other day where they wouldn't let someone on the plane because their name didn't match or something like that.
Yeah.
Simon, to show how stupid they are, about 10 years ago, I was coming home from Thailand and I had 3 flights. So from Thailand, no, 2 flights from Thailand to Sydney, Sydney to Melbourne. I landed in Sydney after checking in on the plane. They go, oh, you have to get off the plane and you get back on. All right, get off the plane, take off all my hand luggage, go back to get on the plane. Oh, you can't take that stuff on the plane. I said, I just got off the plane after 12 hours and you're telling me I can't take it. Oh, you have too much. You have to check it in.
What?
And I had an argument with them. And I said, if you don't let this stuff on the plane, I go, the plane won't be taking off. And I argued, got on the plane. It was a 300 or 400 seater plane and there was 50 people on it. And they were trying to stop me from taking on a suit and some luggage that I had just taken off the plane after 12 hours.
Yeah, that's what I've never seen a plane that empty. I've got a hair in this bag.
Is it red or blue?
That's annoying me though. What's what it's doing?
Hey, hair in a comic on a comic is not as bad as hair in your soup.
Yeah, that's true.
Think I'm gonna beat you, Simon.
Mate, like I said, I've got more books than I have bags and boards. So
Well,
normally when I do this, I literally go until I run out. So
I'm bagging and boarding all the books I've picked up since June.
if you don't pick up as much as me, right? On the weekly.
I would assume I'm probably close. How many's a week for you?
Actually, no, I've cut down a lot. So my piles used to be like 20 to 30 a week. Now, even if I have more than 10, I try to only take 10 a week, because books are expensive.
Yeah, I don't miss Marvel and DC. I mean, I miss good Marvel and DC. I just don't feel the need to read anything that's coming out now.
Yeah, so that's my problem. I'm not really I most of the time, I barely read anymore. But when I do, and I look at all the stuff that I have to choose from, I normally prefer to read indies. I very rarely will be like, I'm in the mood to read something about superheroes. I just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me anymore because most of the stuff I was reading, I was like, what is this? Like, in the beginning, I was enjoying it all just for what it was. But as I kept reading more superhero stuff, I was just like, what is this garbage that I'm reading?
Yeah,
the weird heroes.
The day they project story, they came up with stories now. Okay, so this, but with pizza, or this, but now they're running a restaurant together.
But all the stories you chose to read, Simon, are all Batman, Red Hood, Catwoman, all from the same sort of line, the same sort of thing. So the stories are obviously going to be all the same sort of rubbish at the end of the day. They can start off good, but they're never going to stay.
That's the stuff I enjoy, though. I'm talking about all the other stuff that I try. A price of a comic book here depends on where you buy it from, John. Currently, my shop is pretty expensive, but you're looking at anywhere from your $3.99 price to $4.99. No, sorry, was it $2.99? $2.99 to $4.99. You're paying anywhere between $9 to $14, $15 sometimes for a $4.99 book. Probably about 13, 14 maybe.
Ouch.
But yes, books aren't cheap here. So 10 books sometimes is a lot of money.
Let's see if we still have that.
But if you buy them online, they're pretty cheap.
This is 1950. Oh,
Yeah, but getting them's the expensive part.
No, well, so I ordered a couple online recently and ordered quite a few, like I split a thing with Sarah, and it cost about $16, but we ordered a lot of books. So $16. So the other night I bought a book off eBay, right? And you've probably seen the guy before. So his eBay name is TG Durgam or something like that. Do you know the name on
No.
eBay? Okay, he's a local seller, right? He's from Surrey Hills, apparently. So I bought a book, it's a cheap $8 book. And then he messaged me and said, hey, you can order up to another 16 books from me for no extra postage cost. I was like, all right. So I went through and ordered, and he's got a lot of big key books, but all his keys are absolutely ridiculous in price, like to the point where I don't think he really wants to sell them. I think he wants to have them there. And if by some chance someone's stupid enough to pay that price, then sure, he'll sell it. Like he had ASM 300 raw for over $1,000, which then actually realized it wasn't that stupid here because I think a few other people in Australia are trying to sell it for $1,000 too. Raw.
Yeah, that's about right.
Bruce had it for like $600 not long ago.
Yeah, but you would have been lucky that he had it for that price. If you look now, it's probably twice that.
Ridiculous, mate. You know what? When I get to it, I'll show you. I've got an ASM 300 that I've got a bag and board tonight. I'll show you that one. It's way better than that $1,000 book.
When I hear the price differences to Australia, I mean that's when I realize how isolated you are, because these are only 20% more expensive in Portugal than they are in the United States.
As in the cover price is. So if it's a $3.99 book, you're paying like $4.20 or something.
Yeah. So,
I'm going to switch phones. So add me as the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, because this trade is $17 and it's being sold at.
Yeah.
You got to turn the.
You have to turn the other one off.
Give me 1 second.
This trade is $17. It was sold for €19.50, which is $22. So, yeah. And even with the constant rising of the oil prices, it's been consistently 20% more expensive since I started buying in English. So for over 20 years.
I bought a Fantastic Four 49 last April, graded 3,150, including body taxes and postage from the UK. I think I paid 250. Well, so I don't quite understand how tax works in America, but in Australia, the tax is included in the price. So
yeah.
The thing that always confused me was like, and I just obviously the concept is so odd and bizarre to me that like you have something advertised for $2. But then, like, if you went from America and then you go to buy something and then they charge you more than what it's, said it was advertised at, you're like, what? Because you got to pay the taxes on top. That's really bizarre, for us, because if something said $2, it's $2. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing here. What usually happens is that you have different price, even inside Europe. You have different prices depending on the country because the things are made for your country. So if they have to go somewhere else, the transportation costs add up. But because we do have different tax rates, sales tax in different countries. But usually they stay pretty close, and the price is as advertised.
Sorry, I actually made a mistake. So I think I got sorry. Clumsy said he's in Australia. So I think what Clumsy means is he actually he must have. So this is a new thing that happened in maybe 3 years ago. So when you used to buy books on eBay, hey Grey Man, what's up? Jump in if you want. When you used to buy books here, hey Ezra, what's up? You just buy the book, you pay the postage, right? And then a few years ago, we added import tax. Sorry, I totally spaced on. Yeah. So they charge you basically another 10% on top, like the 10% of whatever you're paying. Whatever you're paying, you'll pay another 10% for that. So that's the worst. So when I first started collecting, I was buying books and it was fine. I was paying a lot for I was paying a lot for the book to get shipped here. But then once they added that extra 10%, like the GST tax on top, the import tax they call it, that was crap.
Let me guess. They put tax on tax, which is why you end up paying extra. We have one interesting particularity here in Portugal. When you buy a car, you have the sales tax on top of the car. First, you have the automobile tax, and then you have the sales tax, and you pay sales tax on the automobile tax.
Yeah.
So you're being taxed for the tax you pay.
What they've done here is because international sellers don't pay Australian tax. So the way they did it is to make sure that the international sellers pay the GST, but then the sellers are just adding it on top of the book. So we're still paying it. So it ends up being that we're paying double tax.
No. I think what happened there is that the extra tax is that they taxed they added extra duties on the import tax and extra duties on the included the value of the
car's tax.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing though is so that, like, because you're not buying it from Australia, hey, we deserve money from the crap that you're buying from overseas too. I mean, that's essentially what they're getting the money for nothing, really. So it's crap. So that's probably why clumsy that the tax is bullshit. So when you're buying high price, so I'm gonna guess you probably paid like $12.50 for that thing to get shipped, but then you paid another $2.50 for the import tax, which is just disgusting.
And there's no point in complaining because you also have to pay for the complaint and the paying for the
complaint because it's just part of eBay now. Like you buy, like whatever you buy, if you're importing it, you pay the import taxes automatically gets added. So it's okay when you're buying something super cheap. You might only pay, like, you pay something that's $30 and then you're only paying a few dollars. That's whatever. But as soon as the more expensive it is, the more of that you're paying. It's just crap, man.
So it shouldn't affect you, Simon. You don't buy anything expensive.
Well, that's why everything I'm buying from America is getting shipped to Bubs. But then last time I got Bubs to ship me the books, I was like, you know what? I think I got enough books there now. Do you want to go get a quote for me for the postage? Guess how much they were, Paolo? $250 to send my books from Bubs.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of books. Like I won two giveaways. And I got them shipped to Bubs, so it was like 30 books that I alone that I didn't buy. But
but sometimes it doesn't happen something weird like that because you order something from outside. You usually don't pay any sort of extra fees or anything, and then one month the customs send you a bill. And it's a value that they pull out of their ass. It has nothing to do with the price of the thing you just bought.
But that also comes down to here. It'll be what value the seller puts on it. So ours is just a set percentage of the value. So if the seller comes and says, "Oh, it's $12,000 value," you're paying 10% of 12,000. Doesn't matter if it's valued that or not. That's what you're paying. But then if he goes and puts $10 and they decide to look and see what it is and see it's worth 1,000, they just could never deliver it to you and say it got lost and you get nothing. So,
well, that's the thing with comic books. I would never tell if you were shipping it from the US. Like that's what happened to Sarah. So Sarah got her book sent from Tyler, and Tyler just showed up in the chat. How much did was it UPS? They emailed Sarah and was like, "Hey, your mail has arrived in the country. Please pay us $400 so you can receive it." And we're like, "What?" Like that happened to me as well when I sent one of my friends. He lives in Colombia, And at the time, this is going back a bit, he wasn't well off, So like I sent him some stuff, right? And when he got it, he was saying that he had to pay to get it at the post office. Like, wait a sec. I paid $90 to ship that to you. Why the hell do you have to pay to pick it up? And I think again it was a similar thing, tax.
Because the governments are rotting everyone.
And then I can't remember what the total. Like Sarah ended up paying some. She didn't pay the full amount because I think Tyler wrote to him and complained a bit about it, and then Sarah was able to talk them down to like I think $200 to pick up the books. But still, the fact that the reason Canada's good, Clumsy, is because the Canadian dollar is very close to us. UPS pulled some. That was so. It was because Tyler wrote the value of the thing was what the book was worth. There was a graded copy of the first Spider-Gwen. So he wrote it was worth like whatever it was worth, and that's why they were like, oh, it's going to cost you this much to pick it up. Like that's crap. Like it's just crap.
Just a way for them to make money.
Yeah, but man, I mean, they like. So the thing that I never understood with the US shipping is, I can buy a comic or whatever it is, right? I'll look at the same let's say it's a figurine, even, right? So okay, now let's use comic books as an example. On average, shipping from the US is probably about 35 to 40 Australian dollars. But then you've got to pay the GS, then you've got to pay the import tax on top of that too. So whatever the total is, you're paying another 10% as well. So, but I don't understand how the shipping from America can range from as low as $35 all the way to sometimes you'll buy one book and it'll cost over 100 Aussie dollars to post one book.
It comes down to who they use. So if you like when I was in Canada and I wanted to send,
I'm not going to PAX unfortunately this weekend. So I wish I was. I wish I was there, but I will not be at PAX this year.
So when I was in Canada and I was trying to send the box home, if I sent it UPS, Canadian Post, whatever you want to call it, it was going to cost $2.20. If I sent it with UPS or FedEx or any of those companies, was going to cost $600. So the seller, it will come down to however they have their postage set up with. If they use FedEx or all of that for everything they send, that's why it'll be $100 for a book. If they use UPS or USPS, then it'll work out cheaper for them. And it also comes down to how many things you send.
Yep.
It's the same with Oz Post. If you send more than 5 to 10 things a week, you get a better rate. And then if you send more than 20 or 30 things a week, you get a better rate again. So
PAX this year is insane, bro. Yeah, I wish I was there. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to go. I just last minute. I'm starting my new job on Monday, so yeah, I wasn't organized to go to PAX, but I'm very upset that I won't be able to be there and make a video. Really, I really want to make a video.
I'll take some footage for you, Simon.
Are you going?
Yeah, Sunday.
Oh man, well that's the day I would have gone, but I left it too last minute because Sarah originally wasn't that interested. I was like, yeah, I guess I could skip it. And the closer it got to the date, I was like, no, I really want to make a video because every time I do a convention video, it kind of helps my channel grow a little bit, So like, I really wanted to do it, but next year I won't miss it.
Yeah, that's what you're saying now.
Oh no, because I was kind of.
Sarah's in the chat.
Sorry.
Sarah's in the chat.
Hey,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Where's my heart?
I'm more important.
Where were we? Yeah, I saw. It's funny. I saw a UPS van yesterday. I think I was like, because I just saw the logo. I was like, is that UPS? And Sarah was like, yeah, it's UPS. I was like, oh, never really noticed those vans around before.
Not UPS, Simon. It's up.
Yeah, well, that's what I saw because there's no dots. I just saw ups written on the logo. Oh, that's a nice shiny cover. But yeah, I just think it's just crazy. Like, oh yeah, because I start last time I sent when I sent stuff to Super Us the other week, she asked me if I had a business account thing, and I said no. So
I
she's like,
told
"Oh,
you last time that
sorry,
let me know
what?
because I have the business account.
Yeah, I've got one now." So she set me up with one. So she said, "But the more you post, then the cheaper it will be."
Yes,
So I
but
need to send that thing to Old Wolf real soon because it's been 3 weeks.
yeah, sending the amount you send isn't gonna get it to come cheap.
Yeah, no. Because the eBay things just. I mean, I'm glad I eventually sold my book on eBay, but I've got a few more books on eBay now, and they're not really gaining much interest. But there's only like 3 books there. PAX does look good.
So Simon, give me a chance, and Billy's next show after this one will go. Once I finish culling my collection, then we can get a table and go.
Well, we're going to split a table, are we? I don't want to
If
split a
you-
table with you because you're going to make like 10 grand while I make like $10.
No, I won't be bringing that much shit. I'll be just bringing books.
Oh, okay.
For me to set up at Billy's show is not worth it. It's too much effort for not enough reward.
I feel like the stuff that you sell though is more suited for cons rather than comic fairs.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why if I do Billy's again, it'll be just some books and some random stuff and try my luck. I won't be going with my full setup.
Yeah, because Sean imports all his stuff from the US. So he gets stuff that you can't get here. So when people see it here, they're like, oh my God, I need to buy it.
When you have cons there, do you get the local government to sponsor it as a cultural event?
No, they don't sponsor shit here.
Well, the Amadora Festival is owned by the city hall, so they always use the city's buildings. The Coimbra one was it wasn't. That one's a private affair, but they managed to. Well, they didn't manage. It's not too difficult. You can rent the. You can ask for. They asked for space in the local library, and they just gave it to them. The same thing happens with the science fiction con here. It's at one of the libraries in Lisbon, and so they can have the space for free or for a nominal fee. But
to show how bad our thing is, I tried to hire a venue from my local council, and the event I hold raises money for a charity, and they still wanted to charge me just as much as me going and hiring a venue from a public place.
Say Gray.
That's 3 times the size.
Damn.
So our government and council doesn't support anything unless they're the ones physically running it. They don't care. All they care about is taking money, and that's it.
Mate, the last con you the last one you put on, was that the one with the car park chaos?
Yeah.
That was a nightmare, mate. There was because the hall was right next to like a church or something like that. So there was a church event on, and everyone, I think, normally parks in this car park which Sean's event was on. So we get out, and because the car park was full because Sean was having an event, all the people who normally go to church, see you, John, decided just to illegally park in the middle
of the cars.
Yeah, like you had cars parked, and then people were just like parking behind cars. We're like, what? So we got out at the end of the day. I was like, what? Why are all these cars like blocking everyone in? It was ridiculous.
And that's why I didn't do the event there again. And I'm looking for another venue.
Would you ever take it interstate?
First, let me get it big enough in our state and then see about taking it interstate.
This book isn't even thick, and it's struggling to get in this freaking bag and board. No, never getting BCW again. The first experience was so good though, and now it's just crap.
I think it's because you got the wrong bags.
No, they're current.
Because
because this happened with Ultra Pro once too, right? I bought a bunch of Ultra Pro bags, and I noticed for just normal books, they felt really oddly tight. Like, look, you can see, you can't see the strain on the bag, like the board's really tight in there. It happened with Ultra Pro too, and I was like, this is really weird. And then the next set I bought was fine, and the next set I bought was perfect. So it's like an inconsistency of them making the bags or cutting whatever they do. Like it's like an inconsistency. Like sometimes they're just too thin.
I get the BCW bags.
Everyone's been giving me shit for my current bags and boards. That's how I like them. Leave me alone. Zars is also from Melbourne. Clumsy. Oh man, this is fucking pain in the ass. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. There, see that? It's not normal.
Nice and simple.
So what you need to do is you need to become friends with a semi-corruptible, lower level employee in your local council.
Doesn't work. I literally knew a person who was running for mayor. And
Holy shit.
I knew him for a long time. And not for this show, but I asked him for help with something else that he could have helped with, and nothing. So our council is a joke. Like down here, it's all about making money and how much they can rush you to do it.
Yeah.
The
Amadora City Hall gets 250,000 euros from the Ministry of Culture to organize the comic book convention. They have to come up with the other 250 themselves. What?
But like I don't know if you've seen Sarah's comment. They won't sponsor art things and stuff like that. But bringing Taylor Swift here and her charging $1,000 a ticket, they support it and help it and everything.
Yeah, we do that too. The city of Lisbon basically spent 20 million euros on the Pope's visit.
Yeah, but the Pope's visit doesn't make the Pope money. Taylor Swift coming here and holding 30 shows in Australia and selling out 50, 80,000 stadiums is making her money. So why does our government have to pay to help it?
Yeah, you should get Foster's beer to sponsor it.
No,
Foster's beer doesn't even exist here.
No.
I don't even think Foster's is still in Australia.
Yeah, I was
I'm
going to
pretty
say.
sure they make it somewhere else these days.
They're famous overseas now. They've made it.
Oh. All right, I heard. Oh, that's the crap we export to you foreigners.
That's right.
That's right. We keep the good stuff for ourselves and we give you the crap.
Uh-huh.
The old stock.
What town are you in, Chief? Says you should bring although Sean keeps his show West Side because he's from the West Side, which is not where I'm from. I'm the opposite. I'm East Side.
Where's he from?
I've just asked him. There are some. I think Geek Theory. He was New South Wales, but he doesn't really YouTube anymore. You should make a channel, Clumsy. Just do it. Let's go for it. If Sean can make a channel, anyone can make a channel.
You enjoy calling me an idiot in your streams, don't you?
No, hey, what do you mean, mate? I copped that from you all day.
You called me an idiot in your stream yesterday.
What? What'd I do? What'd I say?
You called me an idiot.
I called you an idiot? What did you say to provoke me?
I didn't say nothing. I wasn't even in the chat. You just called me an idiot.
What'd I say?
think about it. What stream did you do yesterday?
I did Russ's stream.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Why'd you call me an idiot?
I don't know. Why did I call you an idiot? What did I say? You need to.
About the book I sent in to get signed.
Oh, that's right. Well, you are an idiot for that, but you're a lucky idiot because you got away with it. So I'll tell the story again. So you know that George Perez cover, the JLA versus Justice League versus Avengers cover?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that one, Pello?
Yep.
So Sean had that graded CGC in a 10. 10. Doesn't happen very often, right? So a lot of people have 10s, but they just have a random 10, right? He had a good iconic cover in a 10. So he decided to send it to CGC for the George Perez signing so they could crack it, have him sign it, and then re-slab it. And I was like, out of all the books you should have sent, you should not have sent them a 10, right? Because it's risky business. Because more often than not, you're not going to come back a 10. So I was telling him that. He was like, oh, well, whatever. And then it came back and he did the video. I was like, oh, what's it going to be? And then
a 9-8 signed by George Perez would be worth as much as a 10.
Yeah, but still, not 2 10s. Trust me, you can have a nothing book that's a 10 and you're paying $400 for it just because it's a 10.
Yeah, but a George Perez
An
signed
iconic cover with a 10 and with the signature, sure, it would have been great, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So,
and if it did get the signature, it would have been the only 10 in the world signed. And now
it's got the signature. Technically, if it got the signature, how could it be a 10?
Because it was done in the presence of CGC.
Yeah, but the texter just destroyed the book. Gave it that textury smell.
Sorry, Simon. When you own a 10, you can comment.
One day, I own a 10.
When you own a 9-8, you can comment. 160 kilometers east. So are you towards Phillip Island? Isn't that about 160 k's that way? What's up, Chief?
160 from the CB. 160, really? I've never really been to Phillip. I've been to Phillip Island.
No, I was thinking east of Melbourne, not from Melbourne CBD. That's God. Where the fuck is that? What's the area called?
He's going to make up some place now. Yeah. So you've got a 10. So Batman Traralgon. Oh, wait. Is What's Up, Chief? Is that Michael? I didn't know. If that's you, Michael, I actually didn't know that. So that Batman Dam book is a book that I want to send off because it was the first book I bought that had some kind of hype around it. And there was a lot of 10s of that book going around because it was premium format. Apparently, they're a lot easier to get 10. So a 10 for that book apparently is not as big a deal because it's premium format. It's supposed to be easy to get. But I still want to send mine off and see if I can get a 10.
If it's 160 k's from the CBD, I'm at about another 45 k's from the city. So it's over 200 k's for me to get to you.
Yes. I have got the Dick book as well. That book has dropped in value a lot. It's no longer the Bat Wang is no longer as sought after.
Yeah, those things are only expensive for a while. So if you want to make money on them, it has to be within a year.
Well, it's hot, right?
Yeah.
I never want to make money on it. It has sentimental value for me. That book. That was how I met Mark. So what happened was I was really excited. Like Batman Dam was like the first book that I kind of was excited about. So back then, that was when the world was normal, and we used to have New Comic Book Day on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, I'd go to like a different comic shop and just shop around. But the thing was, all the comic shops wouldn't put their new releases on the shelf until like 3-4 p.m. It was like a thing. I think it was to line up with the US. I don't know, whatever. So the day that Batman Damned came out, I just so happened to Google comic shops, and Big City Comics came up for the first time. And I was like, how have I never heard of this comic shop? It's the closest one to me. So I called up the shop, and Mark picked up, and I was like, hey, man, because I never used to be able to buy my books on new release day because they came out at 4 p.m. I wasn't waiting around to 4 p.m. because then I'd have to drive home in peak hour traffic because all the comic shops are really far away. So Mark answers, and I'm like, hey, do you put your new releases on the shelf straight away? And he goes, yep, as soon as I open at 12 o'clock at midday. And I was like, sweet. So that was the first time I went in. I bought Batman Damned, met Mark. He kept, like, he scoped me out. Like, I remember, like, he was looking me up. I've never seen him before. He's like, where do you shop? I was like, wherever. And then, yeah, I kept going there because I could get my new releases on the day they came out, which was a day before the US. Are you watching Gen V? Is that the Boys show? I didn't even watch the Boys. Oh, look at this show off.
Here you go, Simon.
There you go. Let's have a good look at it. Look at that. In a 10. So they reslabbed. So he didn't get it signed, obviously, because of what happened. But he got it. They reslabbed it with the George Perez label, and it came back a 10, which is very good. Have you actually checked the census? Like, it was probably the only 10 in that book.
No, there's about 5 of, I think, last time I looked.
Really?
Yeah. When I sent it off, I checked the census. There was 3, 2 or 3. That's why I sent it off to get the signature in the hope that it comes back a 10 signed and it'd be the only one. And since then, there's been a few more.
Yeah, but I don't know if, like, as in, like, technically speaking, I mean, Tyler, you're watching. You're a CGC guy. Technically speaking, how can a signed book be a 10? I don't think it technically should be.
Right. Somebody wrote on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it can't be.
Then by doing that,
a 9.9 maybe, if they were really delicate with the signature.
How can it be a 9.8 then?
Well, 9. Looks okay. We'll put it this way: the grading game's stupid. Right? I'm going to be making a video soon about how stupid the grading game is. You give me any 9.6 and a 9.8, and look at them, and you try to point out the freaking difference, all right? And you show me that, because I don't believe you in most cases that you can show me the difference.
Yeah, but Simon, when it comes,
Tyler himself has 9.8s that he knows deep down aren't truly 9.8s.
Yes, but the things between a 9.8 and a 9.6, when you're getting into that 9 to 10 range, is going to be things that are that small and that minimal that you really shouldn't be noticing them.
That's pretty funny. You got a legal burning slab. That's pretty cool. Legal burning is the guy who does art via burning. Like, he has that. It's like a hot metal thing, and he actually draws with it. Yeah, that's true. That can't be a 9.8. It doesn't matter, mate. My favorite grade's a 9.6 anyway, mate. Save a few $100s for the same quality of book. That's what I say.
All comes down to CGC justifying whatever they want to justify.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's bullshit because
I know it's bullshit.
Like, and the thing I want to know, right? Like, for example, Tyler, if you're still watching, if you know that's a 9.8, are you happy that it's a 9.8? Or are you, like, is it happier to know that you got a 9.8, or does it hurt you knowing that it's not truly a 9.8 and you would rather have got the grade that it should have been? Grading for action figures is terrible. Yeah, right. I can imagine. How the hell do you grade an action figure? I suppose you pretty much grade the card.
Because if it's in the packet, well, they probably grade the packaging as well.
Card, yeah. It's like how they're grading VHS tapes now. It's like, wait, aren't VHS tapes normally in the hard plastic thing? Like,
yeah.
I think most people are grading those VHS tapes that are in, like, the cardboard sleeve. I think that's, like, the trend to grade those ones.
In America, Simon, they grade everything.
Yeah, no,
at the show and at Canada, the amount of shit you could get in a fucking slabbed something, cards, coins, video games, video game consoles, freaking pops, toys. They grade everything. Anything they can make money off and justify to someone stupid enough to send it in to get it graded, they'll do it.
You know, collectability is a different cultural thing over there.
That's right. There, if it's got a grade and it's got a grade from a name, it's automatically worth more, even though it's nothing different.
Yeah, you can collect Art Deco lamps.
I've seen a graded, those like Mickey Mouse looking things that you can buy, and you can buy them in all sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're painted like characters or painted like
the little teddy bear thing.
Yeah, I've seen them graded, and the price tags on them were crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they grade Lego. I feel like that's a thing, Lego grading.
Yeah, it is.
So what I learned from Sarah is with grading card grading companies, apparently they won't just apparently card grading won't just grade any card. It's got to be like a card line that they grade. So like I was like saying, oh, I've got a card from The Crow, like the movie, like a trading card from the movie. I was like, get that grade, and she's like, yeah, but they might not grade it because they have to grade those type of whatever that is.
What it has to be, Simon, is they have to have a baseline to know. So
what they're grading.
If, like, you send in a random card that they've never seen before, they can't know the baseline on the quality of it to be able to grade it.
Well,
so
CGC don't know shit about comic books and they're grading them.
Yes, but CGC they grade the book for the book. So with a trading card,
they don't know what they're grading.
But if they've never seen it, and every card that was printed in that series or that boxes was printed with a dot in the corner, and they didn't have a baseline and know about it, they're going to grade every card saying that dot is bad, but it was normal for those cards.
Yeah, it's like how CGC don't deduct a point for the corner being at the top here, because you know how more often than not the top corner there on the card stocks are like damaged. Apparently that doesn't count as a fault with the comic book because it's like a manufactured, I guess.
Yeah,
that's right.
If there's you should be able to tell from the design. I mean, because you don't get printing mistakes repeated on the same item.
Yeah,
you never do.
It was an example because when you think of it, there's how many trading cards there is. When you're getting a set, like every set of trading cards are normally between 80 to 100 cards in the set.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more different trading cards out there than I would say there is comics. But they've been doing comics for the last 30 years or however long it's been. They've got a base and they know what they're looking at. To try and do all that stuff for cards and try and go back 30, 40, 50 years, it's not easy for them to know what they're looking at.
Do you still want these, Sean?
At this stage, no.
Okay.
Because the idea I needed them for is on the back burner at the moment.
So, Clumsy Halo, I believe, still exist. You can send your books there, but I mean, you might get them back quicker from CGC. So,
well, tell me, how can CGC grade and send back books in 2 weeks? And talking 10, 20 books to the one person.
I'm just saying, from my experience in the book that I waited from Halo, it took over a year.
You bet they toss comics to each other in the CGC offices and, hey, grade this. Yeah, it looks fine. Whatever.
Man, did you hear Old Wolf sent some books, and I think they damaged one and they lost one or something like that. So they get no, it wasn't CGC, it was CBCS, and they sent him like a $500 credit. And they're sorry, we lost your book. So I can't remember if they lost or they damaged or something. But it's like,
Yeah, but what's the point them sending him a $500 credit to CGC if they
Yeah.
lost his books? If they lost his books, they should send him a $500 credit. If
No,
they
if they lost-
damaged his book, that's a different story. Yeah, we'll give you some free slabbing because we accidentally damaged your book.
No. What happens is, bet you owe me $500. Give me $500.
That's right, but you know they're never going to give you the $500. But if they lost my book and they're saying, "Oh, we know that book was valued at $500, so we're going to give you a credit to ours," doesn't help me get that book again.
Oh no! Now I'm going to talk shit about you everywhere, and you're going to lose more than $500 in business.
That's right. But see, Americans don't care. CGC could send them a book covered in shit, and they'll never stop fucking using CGC because that's all they swear by.
well, another thing that I think is kind of dodgy with CGC is the Newton rings. Like, it's confusing to me that they're like, oh, that's just what happens sometimes. What? If you got Newton rings, you fucked up. It's like if I put like at work, for example, right now, I have to put we have a thing that we're supposed to put screen protectors on people's phones. Like people used to ask us, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it because I'm not trained to do it. So therefore, if I stuff up, I'm not going to have you yell at me that I did a shit job on your screen protector. But now we've got a machine that helps you put it on perfectly almost. But sometimes you can still stuff up. But that's like me saying, yes, I'll put on your screen protector and then putting all like little bubbles in there and saying, here you go. Sorry,
It happens
sometimes. Newton rings like should be something, oh, whoops, it has Newton rings. We need to do it again.
The problem is the Newton rings may show up after a day or something.
Oh, really?
And they don't have any quality control. Once the book's in the slab, it probably goes straight into the packing place and they put it in bubble wrap with a tag and never look at the book again until it gets posted.
Yeah, I've seen how people have posted like they've had hair in their slabs, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure someone got a book back once and there was a dead spider in their slab, like inside the slab. I don't think it was a Spider-Man book though. That would have been even better. It was a Spider-Man book.
Wasn't the death of Spider-Man?
That would have been good. Oh, look, it's all the books that I wanted to read 2 months ago. There, I finally got to them in the bottom of the stack.
If you didn't pick up so much rubbish, you wouldn't have
Dang it.
trouble
What do you
getting
mean?
through it.
Rubbish? What are you talking about? I don't pick up rubbish like this. Creed, the next round. Are you calling that rubbish?
Yeah. It's the sort of rubbish that you collect. I met the guy who did the cover.
What? You met the guy who did the cover for this?
Yeah.
Oh, who did the cover?
Can't remember what his name is, but I know he had the book on his table because he did the cover.
The A cover?
No, he did that cover, that exact cover.
Very good.
So,
Oh, World Tree. That's a book I want to read. Everyone told me that went downhill though. The first issue was so good of World Tree. But like so here's the problem with all the comics I read too, right? Anything that's good gets bad if it keeps going. So like I really enjoy Nocterra, right? And I'm not a huge fan of Scott Snyder, just because one of my friends at work loves Scott Snyder. He loves Scott Snyder's Batman. And I read Court of Owls, and that was fantastic. Like that was one of the early great experiences in Batman reading that I had was Court of Owls, right? And then I read a lot of, so I started trying to find Scott Snyder books and Scott Snyder written stuff. And so much of it was just garbage. And then Nocterra has been fantastic. But then I picked it up recently for the first time. I was way behind. So I thought, Nocterra is one of my favorite series. I should catch up on it. So I started reading it. And it was still good. And then it just got to this plot point where I was like, oh no, don't tell me you're about to turn this into Scott Snyder garbage. And yeah, they did something which, yeah, I wasn't a fan. Like some things are too comic booky. Like I want my comic books to be somewhat believable. When they go a little bit too far into the, imagination, it
So
just.
your funny book was too much in the funny.
Oh, which funny book?
Your funny books. That's what they're called. Funny books.
Funny
Comic.
books. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just like another one like the Snyder wrote. Snyder wrote a book called We Have Demons, I think it was called. It was only 3 issues, right? Only 3 issues. The first one was fantastic. I was like, holy crap, this is going to be a great series. Only 2 more issues. How could you stuff up? And then the next issue was Scott Snyder garbage. Oh my God, it was so much garbage. Oh man, it was the worst. Like, I want him to be good. Because have you read Court of Owls?
No, I haven't read anything Batman.
You haven't read anything Batman. Paolo, you read Court of Owls?
The last Batman I read was Volume 1 of Batman Incorporated, so that was a long while ago.
Oh man, like Court of Owls, legitimately, I think of the reason it was the first time I read a Batman story that felt like a detective story, I guess, following clues and all that. It was really, really well done. And it got to a point where it did something there's a certain part of the story where it did something and I was like, holy crap, this is just so imaginative. It was incredible. Like, it was a really good reading experience. And then the second volume was City of Owls, and that was nowhere near as good. But the first Court of Owls I thought was fantastic. So yeah, I just always expected Snyder to just reach that greatness again, but he just can't do it. So what was the last modern book that you read, Paolo?
Yeah, I just bought since I'm buying mostly trade paperbacks, I just bought I said, the Department of Truth and the Once and Future, which is the one where King Arthur comes back.
I read the first. Actually, I think, did I only read the first issue of Department of Truth? See, I wanted to like Department of Truth, but man, the art was too much for me. Like,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It gets better. It's not. It gets better. You get used to the art as you get into the story. It makes sense for the story.
Like, it's not like the art. So here's the thing with that art, right? My thought was, I felt like I was reading a flashback, but the flashback was the entire story.
Well, there are a lot of flashbacks. The thing is, because it deals with the nature of reality, everything is supposed to be fuzzy.
What story is that?
Department of Truth.
Ah, okay.
The one thing that I don't entirely like about modern books is the way they used coloring as a way to show depth, because that was what inking was supposed to do. So it never feels as solid as it used to be.
I get people get more talented at drawing as thing goes by, but comics sometimes are just meant to be simple, and I think some artists take it to the extreme, and it suits some things, but it doesn't suit everything.
Yeah,
I definitely think the old style was not necessarily better, but was more consistent. It was more consistently good, I think, back in the day. Now you get some trash, especially from Marvel.
The thing is, if the artist is a cartoonist, he usually does much better at making things look simple, even when they're not. Like, I have a Portuguese comic here,
and
it's cartoony, but the storytelling,
it can match.
Yeah, and it's not simple. You get stuff here. Everything that you need to tell the story is here, and there are. Like, this here is just a talking sequence, but it's all in the facial expressions.
My thing is like this cover, there's just so much going on and so much color everywhere, you can't even really tell what the hell's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't need the background. You got two main characters, should have been simple and easy, but they go to the extreme.
See, this is when we old people complain that Jim Shooter should come back. This is what we're talking about. The guys who are current Marvel editors, they have no idea about cover design. What makes something stand out? Because the cover, the entire point of the cover is that it's a sales instrument. It's supposed to make you want to buy the comic. I think doesn't make you want to buy the comics. It just makes you want to ignore it.
Well, that's right. Something as simple as that, compared to the Wolverine Ghost Rider cover. Yeah,
well, pinup covers. Nobody's doing real action.
Nah, but Simon's covers are all boobs and legs.
That's not true.
I don't think I've ever seen Simon buy a book that has a male on it besides Red Hood.
What do you mean? There's a male here.
Yeah. and all there is boobs and legs.
So if I didn't know if there was no Batman logo there, I would think that's a soft porn comic for housewives.
So that's why Simon bought it.
One funny thing is this Portuguese comic I have is made by my LCS.
Oh,
really? The guy puts out comics every once in a while.
That's another Ghost Rider cover. Look how much simpler it is compared to the last one.
I'm trying to get the first issue for that current run.
This one, it's like 20 issues in.
Yeah, I know. I just want the first one.
Why? What's key about it?
I think it's the first appearance of that chick. That's on the cover.
Chick.
All right. He's dropping some knowledge there.
Like a nothing key is what it is.
This is more your type of book, Simon. Just get this one.
I've got that one. I bagged that one just before. Did you get the other half?
Not yet. But
It's not out yet, right?
It wasn't out when I picked up my books that last time when we were there. So I don't know if it's come out since.
Oh, I'm doing a pretty good job, but I feel like I'm definitely running low on bags now.
So come to my house and you can pick some up. I've got plenty.
I just ordered some Silver Age ones from Mark today. He called me up and was like, "Did you say you want Silver Age?" I was like, "Yeah, if you got boards to go with them." Just because I just want one pack. Will last me forever because I don't use the Silver Age ones. I only use them for the thicker books.
I got these today.
These stickers?
No, cards. One Piece.
Oh, One Piece cards. Yeah, Sarah's been collecting those.
Asian version.
Asian version?
Yeah. So, in the morning, not suitable for kids under 36 months.
Oh, it's under 36 months.
3 years, Simon.
I know, this is why did they just say that?
Yeah, literally. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
Who brings them out, though? Are they like fake One Piece cards?
Toy Animation brings them out. They're just the Asian version.
I don't know if I'm going to watch Loki. I did enjoy the first season of Loki, but I don't know if I care anymore about the MCU. Just like I don't know if I care anymore about the DCU or EU. I haven't watched the last few. I watched The Flash, obviously, but I didn't watch Shazam. I don't know.
I still haven't watched The Flash.
I don't know if I care anymore.
I only watched the these movies when they show up on TV, and that's if I bother to watch them. So they did Endgame back to back, the two movies. Why was that two movies?
Because it would have gone for like 6 hours otherwise.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to go on for 6 hours. That thing fits into a regular 1 hour. Anything that actually matters fits into a single 1 hour 40-minute movie.
No,
It's not. Yes, it does. There's
No, it
a lot of time where
doesn't.
there is nothing going on.
yeah, but that all builds to the story. I get it. It was longer than it needed to be, but there's no way both those movies could be an hour 40 movie.
Yes, it can.
No, you've got 35-minute, 40-minute battle sequence right at the end
Well,
of
that
the
doesn't need to
movie.
be 40 minutes. Let's be honest there.
Right. That needs to be about 5 minutes.
No,
Tops. Yes, it does, because you don't need to see everyone fighting. There comes a
but you
point in
do,
that story where you have a main character, and you should focus on a main. You need a main character and focus on it.
yeah, but you need to see all those battles because those battles are tying up stories from even their own movies. So
I think Endgame and what was the other one called?
Infinity War.
Yeah, I think they were absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed them thoroughly, and even the second time I watched them, I thought they were just as good.
I admit they're too long, but they did. There's no way they could be a 2-hour movie for both of them and work.
I don't think they felt that long. They were pretty.
No, they
enjoyable
didn't,
rides.
but they were long. You 2.5 hours and 3 hours, whatever it was. They're long movies, but there's no way you can cut 5 hours down to 2 hours and still get the same effect.
Well, you'd be surprised because when me and Mark do our episodes and they only go for 15 minutes, sometimes I edit that down from an hour. I get home and I was like, holy shit, we spoke for an hour and I have to edit that down into a 15-minute video.
Yes, but
Not
everyone knows that Mark talks
Yeah, man.
a whole bunch of
But not
rambling.
only that, so the problem is Mark won't only talk a lot, but he also takes like 2 minutes to spit out a sentence because we're just we don't script anything, right? We're just like off the top. So Mark will like he would say, yeah, because when he has a thought, he'll be like, and he'll say one word at a time. And I always cut out the and 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 things like that. So sometimes like Mark will take like a minute just to say 5 words because he's got and between them and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's because he's thinking about what he says so he doesn't get you in trouble on your channel.
Yeah, I can always delete it. Ezra, I have not seen that, but Sarah watched it. Everyone who's watched the live action One Piece has said it's good, which is I'm pretty surprised about that. I don't really know much about One Piece, but I mean, I might check it out. It's only 8 episodes, I think.
I know the character names. That's about the extent
Luffy.
of what I know.
One Piece Cafe is like my favorite place to eat here. We should go there one day, Sean. You eat food. One Piece Cafe is like
I think I did.
Well, fucking Sarah barely does. We go there and she can eat. But yeah.
Pick something in the middle, not on your side of town.
Man, I come to your side of town once a week. One Piece live action is the best thing.
You don't come to my side of town.
Oh, well, yeah, because it's more your side of town than my side of town.
No. How long does it take you to get there?
To about 40 minutes.
To Mark. What?
Yeah, about 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, it takes
Normally
me the
40
same.
minutes.
So it's center. It's not my side of town.
Well, you live too far away then. What time is it? Man, I've only been going for an hour and 40 minutes.
Only.
I'm doing all right. What time is it over there, Paolo?
9:30 in the morning.
And okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I woke up. I turned on the computer. Oh, there's Simon.
God, it's the first time that he picked a normal time for doing a stream.
Well, it's only because like Sarah gets mad when I stream late because she wants to sleep, and apparently I'm really loud when I stream.
It happens. When I join when I join American streams, especially during the weeks, I'm up way past midnight in order to be there.
Yeah, well, it's like Greyman. It sucks. Is me and Greyman can never really hang because we're like complete opposite in time.
Yeah, he's at the same time as I am,
and he'll stay up really late. Like he'll stay up like past midnight sometimes, and it'll be fine for this stream. But to be on his stream, it's like 4 or 5 in the morning here. So.
Yeah. The thing is the stream he does on Wednesdays. It's actually quite early even for the Americans, but the Americans who are there are retired and they go to bed early, so it's like 5 p.m. there. But the one I was on Wednesday night, it's set up by a guy who lives in Missouri. So his 8 p.m. is my 1 a.m. and then we start. It's the Four Color Fossils on Graphic Man's channel, and it consists of old guys showing off comics and me showing off covers from French comics. But it's fun, and we usually ask questions about what everybody's showing, so that it's not just a 2-hour show about people showing off comics. So always a good idea to talk. And the one I'm doing tonight, it's at 6 Eastern, which is my 11 p.m. And it's on Jared Osborne's channel. So the thing is, I'm probably the only non-comic pro there, because Jared and Wilson, they do production work for comic book companies. They worked at Marvel in the late 90s. Jared was production. He worked for John Romita's wife, and Wilson was in charge of art returns. And sometimes they talk shop, and sometimes we get Chris Giarusso, the guy who did the mini Marvels. And usually is there and is working, because he's working on a graphic novel. He has his own character called Officer Clawsome. Is a lobster detective. But usually he's just over there like this, and every once he raises his head and says something. Then he goes back to drawing or coloring or whatever he's doing.
Are there Portuguese price variants?
No, there are comics made in Portugal. We have euros as prices. There's no such thing as price variants in other countries. The thing people who collect foreign comics, like, oh, I have the Italian press variant. No, you don't have an Italian press variant. You have an Italian comic with an Italian translation of a U.S. comic. It's not the same thing. And sometimes they get the comics and they're surprised. Oh, this has more than that comic inside. Well, yeah, our comics are 60 to 80 pages and they have 3 or 4 stories. It's normal. That's why they complain that the Brazilian Amazing Spider-Man 300 doesn't have the Amazing Spider-Man 300 cover. That cover sucks. They created a composite cover with art from the inside for it.
We had price variants here, Australia and New Zealand ones.
Yeah, but they're still printed in the US. They just put a...
No, not always. So, the Batman, Batman 89 Michael Keaton movie, there was that book that was, the movie adaptation, right? So I've got that. And I remember seeing people posting it, on Instagram or whatever, right? And I'll go, I've got that book. But then I noticed something when I looked at it, I was like, wait a sec. Mine doesn't have the DC logo at the top. Mine has some random publishing company.
That's not a variant. That was a licensed edition.
Yeah.
The Marvel US Comics used to have prices in UK. They used to have UK prices, but those were not Marvel UK comics. Marvel UK repackaged the comics in their own titles in a different format.
Well, we
That's
did. I
what.
guess we had that with too because we've got the Newton comics
Mhm.
and all that. So Newton was like a part of Murray Comics, I think. I think Murray
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So they're the proper Australian comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versions of it.
I've got Fantastic Four 2 and 3.
You know what's the most famous Australian-made comics are? The
Phantom.
Fru Phantoms.
The what?
Phantom fans across the world all want the Fru Phantoms.
What's the fruit? What's that?
The Phantom, the newspaper strip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it asks stories produced in Australia by Fru because there aren't enough newspaper strips to put out a comic every week.
Gore Vidal is the biggest Phantom fan I know.
Yeah, I love the Phantom. It showed up in the newspaper my dad bought, and I have a few editions that collect the strips in a magazine format. That was normal here. In fact, for a long while, the only U.S. comics we could buy on the stands were newspaper strips because nobody bothered licensing Marvel or DC. Sometimes somebody did, and the comic would usually fail. It wasn't until the Brazilians started dumping their stuff here that we got a consistent Marvel DC publishing. Those are the comics that I bought. Most of my Portuguese language Marvel DCs are Brazilian.
Okay.
I've met the translator. Before that company started making Marvel and DC comics in 1979. It was Editora Abril. Multiple publishers would license specific comics, and some of them would treat the final product in an abhorrent manner. They would recolor stuff. They would make the language simple for kids. And they didn't bother with continuity. They could sometimes they would license the comic in 1972, but they would start publishing from Amazing Fantasy number 15, which was 10 years before. But then they would put out a Fantastic Four comic, and they would be showing the Roy Thomas, John Buscema stuff. That didn't make any sense. And the translator got together with the guy with his best friend, and they made a deal with the Brazilian publisher that they would take care of all editorial aspects, and that included a chronology. But they wanted to publish all the good stuff, so they mucked about with the chronology for a little bit. Because some books they started in 1979, some books were in 1968, some books were in 1974. They didn't have the rights to everything because Spider-Man and Hulk were still with a different publisher. By 1983, they had everything that they needed, and that's when they started to make sure that everything fit together, and which they finally did in 1988. That's when everything was at the same time.
20
but
years
they made
later.
sure, yeah, they made sure that things were consistent, which was what no publisher before had done. They wanted to make a quality product for fans who were really into it, and it was the first time that anybody in Brazil had treated comics as a literary product instead of just mindless entertainment for kids. And that we in Portugal ended up having those. So before the 1980s, Portuguese comics fans didn't really like American comics because we didn't know them. Everything was the US the US comics were usually newspaper strips, and then we had European comics.
I learned about comics from The Simpsons. Like I learned about comic books having value anyway from The Simpsons.
Well, it's not important here. I mean, we don't even have. There are magazines from the 60s and 70s that I'd like to have. They don't exist. They were usually thrown out. Nobody bothered keeping them. so they don't show up for sale. And some
when
of them
they
are
do,
pretty.
are they expensive?
No, they're just €5.
Okay.
Because the problem is, since we don't have people who make databases of comics here, so people here don't know which comics they were in when they came out, and ultimately they were disposable. I mean, if you bought Falcão, that thing reprinted British war comics, and it was always the same story. So it's not like one comic is more expensive than the other. So you have to be into black and white comics that were into old black and white comics to even know that exists. And so most people don't know they exist. No, they wouldn't be interested in collecting them.
Man, I totally read Foot Trot Flats when I was a kid. I always forget that even exists. But that's like an Aussie classic. I think Aussie, right? Foot Trot Flats. I don't know. There was what's the name of the channel? There's a dude in the community. He's got a YouTube channel. Is it here? Oh, what's his name of his channel? I haven't watched him for. I think is it Heroes to Collect? Is that the name of the channel? But anyway, he collects like I've never seen anyone else have them, but he's got like Chinese comic books. Like the art's all like it's all like like the Chinese fantasy style where they've got like the robes and the big long hair and the big swords and stuff. And some of the art on them is so amazing, but I've never seen. He's like the only person I've ever seen show those books.
Yeah, we've had some art exhibits from Polish comic artists here, and I've never seen a Polish. I don't know why they did it because they're not published here. I've never seen a Polish comics, but they do exist. Sometimes we don't go around exporting stuff like we should. Like nobody in the rest of Europe knows about the comics made by Portuguese artists. Our two most famous artists from back in the day, they had to go abroad. One became famous for. One moved to Brazil when he was 21, and he became the best cover artist for horror comics in Brazil. And the other one started working for the French and Spanish markets, and he used a French pseudonym, and he did a comic about the TV series Vikings. So. Yeah. Okay, so Ragnar had a French comic in the 1960s drawn by a Portuguese artist. It was it eventually was published here, but it's even in France it's not well known nowadays. But we do have some Portuguese artists in the U.S. industry. In fact, we have two of the exhibits we have at our con. One is the Layla Starr, and the other is the Great Gatsby, because those are Portuguese artists.
Wait, Layla
Starr is. Yeah, it's written by Ram V.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've read the first. I think I read the first issue. Everyone loved that series. I've got it all. I just never. Oh yeah, I only read the first issue, and it was okay. It wasn't really my thing, but everyone did say it was really good.
Yeah. The guy who did the art for the Great Gatsby comics adaptation used to work on Rocket Raccoon.
It's a big upgrade. Man, some of these books are so old. I need to read them. I'm like really deep into the pile of books that have been sitting here now. I need to read that.
That's the other reason I stopped collecting floppies, is because I didn't even take them out of the plastic bag. I bought them and they stayed there. And since it was at the part that I was losing trust in Marvel, I didn't really feel the need to read them. So yeah, it's just collected editions now.
I hope I get to that point one day when I really want to just so this is my favorite series, and I actually started reading it in trade just because by the time I was really wanting to read it, it was too late to buy the first 10 issues, right? So I just read it all in trade. But even though now I'm reading it in floppies, I still buy the trades because I always want to refer back to the story at some point, just to refresh my memory. Which is what good trades are good for. But I bought a few trades recently. If they're cheap, I'll buy them. Are you unboxing your toy now?
Yep.
I thought you didn't unbox toys.
I never said I don't unbox toys.
I thought you're an inbox collector.
Are you kidding? No.
What planet are you on?
Statues are different. You know, I never see you open like the figures that you buy. Statues don't come with a window in the box.
Because I've got nowhere to put them.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
why I haven't unboxed them yet. Even this, fucking, they make it difficult enough to fucking get it out.
McFarlane figures are the worst to get out of the box. Like, because you know, if you're gonna use like a cutter to like cut it, like it's so tight against the figure, you gotta like be careful you don't damage the figure.
Yeah, McFarlane should stop making toys and just admit that he's doing statues. What's the point? What's the point of them having movement? Because they're even too complicated in terms of design.
Well, because now I've gotten really into action figures. I follow a lot of like people who do the toy photography, and some of the stuff they do is amazing. Like I've been watching videos on Instagram of them, like they'll show you the photo and then you swipe and it'll show you them how they set it up. And I was like, man, that's a lot of work to do just to get that one shot. You know, it's pretty incredible. What issue? Oh, what issue? No, I think it was 30. They're up to 32 or 33. So this is 32. I think this is the latest issue. So 32. Yeah. I don't know if you saw my Batman McFarlane unboxing, Nora and Rad, but I did some articulation test and the arm came right off. It was very embarrassing.
So what test do we do, Simon?
So what? Okay, so you do the head movement. Oh, whoa. Let's wait. Let's make Sean big. This is how we do action figure unboxings here. So you hold the figure right up to the screen. We want to see some head articulation, up, down, left, right. Give us some of that. Oh, it's pretty stiff there, looks like. Yep, good up, down. How about left, right? Does it go all the way around?
No, because of his suit.
Oh, there you go. And then we want to see some arm articulation. Does he go to a T? Does he go higher? What can he do? He goes, yep. Yep, very good. Does he have any bicep swivel? Does he swivel at the biceps there?
Yeah,
very good.
And now you're seeing why marketing needs to tell the artists how to design costumes for the superheroes, because they need to have a clear design that you can license for an easy to make toy, and that's not an easy to make toy.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, so show us the elbow bend. Yeah, very good. Does his hands have a swivel too?
Yeah.
Very good. Now, this is the most important one. Let's see some ab crunch. Let's test his ab crunch there. Now, you want to do it from the side so we can see the ab crunch. From the side, yeah, very good. Oh, not much of an ab crunch there. Does he turn at the hips?
A little bit, but because of the suit, stops it.
All right. Well, how about his legs? Did he do the splits? Careful. Don't make sure his leg doesn't come right off.
Ooh.
All right. So he does the splits that way. What about the other way? What about the Van Damme splits is what we want to see. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. My Raven spawn arm. That sucks. Yeah, it's funny. I watch a lot of people modify their toys now too, and it's quite amazing what people can do with these things. Yep, cool. Is that as high as his knee go? It doesn't go all the way?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. Yeah, that's all right.
And he's
not bad. What do you rate that figure out of 10, mate? What accessories does he come with?
He comes with a quiver and some arrows, which pushes in on his back. The arrows are just one bunch of plastic, which I found weird, and he came with a crossbow.
You can't even put up like one. There isn't just one single arrow. That's interesting.
And then let's see if his arm can even hold the. It doesn't look like I can even get the crossbow into his hand.
So
yeah. That reminds me when I had an Optimus Prime and the gun didn't fit into Optimus Prime's hand.
Yeah, I just bought a Joker recently, a Joker figurine from McFarlane. And the weirdest thing for starters is he comes with an axe. I'm like, what? When do you ever have an axe? And then the axe handle was way too thick to go into his hand. Like it doesn't, like it's not even close to fit in his hand.
The only way I'm getting it in is if I force it.
They should have attached an arrow to the bow, exactly, right? But see, clever people will go like find or 3D print a little arrow and then like glue it to the bow. And yeah, it's crazy how good people are at doing stuff. Oh, look at this. What a pickup.
Got it in.
Oh, very good.
So how is it, Simon? Like this?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he needs the bow. I mean the arrow, sorry. They should have given you like a separate one with the boxing glove on it or something. Oh no. Did I freeze or did you freeze, Sean?
He froze. You can listen to. Can you listen to me? If you can,
yeah,
you're not frozen.
You're good. All right.
Yeah.
That figure was so good that it stocked up his internet. Do you know this book, Paolo?
Sonic. I haven't seen a Sonic comic in ages.
First. But this is like the news. So there was the first ever Sonic was like I think it was more ash can size, and it was this same thing, but it was like I think it was like a giveaway when you bought a game or something like that.
No, Archie used to publish Sonic comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to read. That was my favorite comic series when I was a kid. So when I was like, I don't know, 12, whatever I was there back then, I used Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I had all of them from the very, very first one all the way through to whatever. So Sonic was my favorite. So now I have this big nostalgia for Sonic. So this is technically like the second print of his first appearance. And then it went into the Archie books after that. So
we
$10.
Sonics we sometimes had newsstand editions, US newsstand editions in the places where you could buy foreign magazines, but around 1992 or 3, one magazine publisher actually got the rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adventures, the Archie version. So we had those for about 2 years, I guess.
I used to read those as well. They were great.
We got Transformers for a year and a half, the Marvel edition. In the same line, they also published the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade comic, which is kind of weird because those guys didn't produce newsstand comics. They produced the French albums, so they tried to go into the newsstand, and they got the Transformers. Yeah, I once remember there was a big collected edition of Captain Planet. I don't know where they got that. You ran out of juice?
No, I don't know why the phone I was streaming from just froze. So, using my other phone.
Why do you have two phones?
Because I got my old phone and I got my new phone.
Double camera action.
And
the kids' comics we used to have were Disney's. Everyone who read comics started with Disney. Because most Disney stories available in Europe are made in Europe, especially in Italy. The Americans stopped producing Disney stories in the 1980s, but the Italians started producing them right out of World War II. In the late 40s, they already had their own stories. And there are a few interesting concepts which were either expanded on or generated in the European versions. For example, Donald has a cousin named Fedri, who is a hippie. It was created in the U.S. comics, but it was the Danish who started producing more stories with him. And then the Brazilians made a superhero version of him called the Red Bat, who lived in a trash can. The Donald Duck had a superhero version, which was based on Phantomas.
Darkwing Duck?
No. Paperinik. He was based on Phantomas, but he was a parody of Diabolik. And they started in 1969. It was called Paperinik. Usually in English, it shows up as a what was it? Not super. It's not. It wasn't Super Duck. Because nobody in the English speaking world even knew he existed before 1993. But I was reading his stories in the 1980s, and there were 70s and 80s stories. What was Paperinik's name in English? Duck Avenger. IDW did some. I think IDW did published some recent stories with him, because they tried to do because he was a superhero. The Italians tried to do a consistent chronology for him, and then it got less interesting. Super Goof stories were made in the U.S. And then there are a couple of nephews who only exist in European stories. Feathery has a nephew. Scrooge McDuck's girlfriend. She only exists in the Italian comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to love DuckTales, man. Back in the day, DuckTales was like awesome. Hey, wait, Sean, go back. Your cabinet there, right? Show me every action figure, not statue, action figure that's at a box.
In this thing.
Yeah.
So, well, technically Hot Toys are action figures because they move.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
So you got that Joker.
Whoa. Not the Killing Joke one. That's a statue.
No, the Jared Leto behind.
Oh, Jared Leto. Okay.
Then you got Jack Nicholson. You've got the Green Arrow there at the back. The two Green Arrows at the back are both action figures. You got the Superman
Is that
here in the front. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's that Japanese.
The Play Arts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then you've got the Green Arrow, the other two Hot Toys. You got the Catwoman.
What's that?
And then that's an old Batman Adventures figure still in box.
Pointing at it.
Give me 1 second.
Are you trying to flip your camera?
No. Move. Can you see it now?
Yes. Is that a figure? Or, it looks like a figure. Okay.
It is, but I'm not taking it out of the box.
Yeah.
And then you got. So, where are we? Because I can't see what you're looking at. Can you see Deathstroke? Let me open the glass. There's a glass, the door's closed. They're hard to see. So, in this one, I've got Shazam there in the corner.
What's that from?
That is a DC, the DC line, the ones in the white boxes, the ones that DC Direct used to do.
DC Collectibles, yep.
Yeah, and I got the Black Adam back there. I've got the Shazam still in the case.
Oh, yeah. Super Friends.
Yeah, I've got Deathstroke from Titans. And I've got Green Arrow and Flash from Smallville. Back there. And none of them are action figures. They're all Hot Toys. Action figures. I've got the Stan Lee.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
No more in there. I got a whole set in here.
Are there playouts again?
Yep. So Hawkman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Supergirl. And then I've got Nightwings,
Oh, wait.
Gambit.
What's that Nightwing one from? The one right at the front.
That is the DC 75th. 1 second, I'll pull it out.
Because
I just got.
Mayfix have a really good Nightwing that I wouldn't mind getting, but I think it's like top dollar, so I don't pay top dollar for my shit. Actually, I do recently.
Well, I was just speaking with my supplier. Those art effect ones that you want,
Yeah.
they're about to get a whole bunch in. So that Nightwing it says DC 75th anniversary,
Mhm.
and then you got him in his original costume.
The best costume.
And then there's the Batman v Superman one.
Alright.
And then I've got like Hulkbuster, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Apocalypse,
All right. So I guess you do take them out of the box.
the Thing. I've still got some in the box, but yeah, I do take some out.
I just remember every time you picked some up in your haul videos, I was like, I'm pretty sure they were staying in the.
Yeah, like I've got all the latest ones I've been buying, and that it's just because I haven't had a chance to put them anywhere, and the room. So they'll get out eventually.
Very good. Very good. You proved me wrong. Man, my back was killing me today. Like I couldn't bend over today. Like in the morning, I went to get the food out of the fridge, and I had this crazy pain in my back. I had to yell because it hurt so much. And then all day at work, I kept getting it. So I think I'm.
Because it's the first day you've actually did some work. Hey, Werewolf. I know I might be a bit late.
Yes, you are 6 minutes.
Let me show something for Sanimation there. Italian Diabolic Comics.
Oh wait, that's right. I feel like Sanimation got right into Diabolic for a while. I feel because I know that title, and I feel like it was Sana who was showing off some of that stuff.
And NORAD, that is Superman's dad. If you're talking about the hot toy you've seen in the cabinet.
And I can't speak Italian, but I can read Italian. If you know Spanish and French, you should be able to read Italian. No big deal.
Yeah, it's like one of my friends from work who's like full blown Aussie. He can speak fluent Japanese, but he was saying that the Japanese alphabet, I guess, is the same as like you said. It's the same characters as Chinese or something.
Yeah, hiragana is the same characters as Chinese. Katakana is a phonetic syllable pronunciation, and then they mix in some Latin alphabet when they need to for products. Even their numbers are completely Western now.
Interesting.
Do you speak any Chinese, Simon?
Depends who asks. I can understand Cantonese, but I would say I understand it better than I speak it. I can just say like random words, but I can't really have a conversation with someone so well because I haven't really practiced it. I don't really use it enough. When I was a kid, I would speak it a lot better. Yeah, that's right. Santa, it was the guy who left the voice message. But yes, so I always have customers come in and look, put it this way: when people come in, like at work, for example, and say, "Hey, do you speak Chinese?" because they want to speak Chinese to me, they always speak Mandarin. So it's like,
right,
well, exactly. So, but yes, we have a little Chinese lady who works with us, and she always speaks to me in Chinese, and I always respond to her in English. But because of her, I think my Cantonese is probably better than it was like a few years ago. But yeah, my parents used to speak to me always like kind of in half.
Was it your parents who moved to Australia or grandparents?
No. My dad definitely moved here when he was young, and I'm pretty sure my mum was really young too when she moved here, like with her grandparents. Oh, with her parents, sorry. But my dad came here by himself when he was like 18 or something like that. Yeah. Couldn't speak a word of English, and they dropped. So he obviously got on a boat. They dropped him off at a pier in Australia. This would have been like the early 50s or something like that, like 1950 or something like that. My dad was pretty old when he had me, but they dropped him off. Like he got off the boat, and someone was supposed to pick him up from the pier or wherever, right? And he said, so this is like an 18-year-old kid who can't speak any English, gets dropped off and waiting for some random person he's never met to pick him up. And he waited 6 hours before the person showed up to pick him up. And I was like, what? How do you, like, I would have been crapping myself like, man, I'm just going to drown myself right now. This guy's not coming. Who would wait 6 hours for someone?
It was a different time back then, Simon.
So, yeah. Back in the 1950s and 60s, there were Portuguese people who couldn't immigrate legally, so they just hopped over to France, not knowing any French, and just stay there. But now there are 1.5 million Portuguese in Paris, or people of Portuguese descent.
It's the same.
The grandkids are no longer speaking Portuguese, even though the grandparents insist that the entire family must spend the summer months in Portugal.
Yeah, my dad did the same thing when he came here. Left Malta to come here, not one word of English. At 17, and then been here for the rest of his life.
Yeah, my dad got thrown straight into a kitchen to work.
My dad was in a factory working illegally. They said that he was 21 and he was only 17, and then he got called for the army and they worked out that he was 17.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but as I said, back then was a different time for them, Simon. So your dad to wait 6 hours was nothing. For us, we can't wait 10 minutes before we start getting crappy.
My dad didn't immigrate, but my grandparents sent my dad to the big city when he was 10, so that he could learn beyond the 4th grade, because they didn't have it back. They didn't have schooling in that area of the country, so they just sent him on a bus to be picked up by the lady who was putting him up in a bedroom, and he would go to trade school here.
Schooling in Europe is different as well compared to what we know here.
The literacy rate in Portugal in 1900 was the worst in Western Europe. Literacy rate in most Western European countries was between 60 and 85%. In Portugal, it was 23%. So even though schooling was mandatory from 1910, a lot of people never went to school. My grandparents were all illiterate.
Really?
And my parents didn't go beyond a certain type of schooling. They couldn't get higher education. So my generation is the first one where we went to college.
Okay.
You did well, mate. You did well because you know a lot of shit.
Well, that's one of the things. If I wanted to read something, my dad would buy me, unless it was a comic book. Then he wouldn't want to buy me. My
It always
my parents wanted me to quit reading comics when I was 10. That's why I'm surprised when I hear people started reading comics when they were 12.
That's when I was reading them a lot more. It's funny because I always say to people like the story of when I got back into comics 5 years ago, I couldn't really remember what happened to all my old comics, but then one day I had the flashback of like, oh, that's right. I'm pretty certain my mum called me up one day. I'd moved out of home and stuff like that, and she was just like, "Hey, you know what, your comics here? Can I give them to my friend's kid?" And there was a part of me because I was a hoarder, right? I was just like, I hadn't looked at these things for a long time. I was an adult, I didn't look at this stuff anymore. But I was like, there was a part of me that really didn't want to say yes. But she was like, "You're not using them," and I was like, oh, "Yeah, I guess you can give them to your friends' kids. I guess I will never get into comic books again as a grown man."
recommend. I got some art for you.
Oh, that's nice.
It's one of the things that you sometimes have to start thinking. I mean, what am I going to do with this pile of paper when I die?
Sell it. Sell it to the highest bidder.
I'd rather give them to a kid who's getting into comics, and now he has a large collection, and he gets a sense of history as well.
Yeah, but if you're the wrong person gets involved with that kid, he'll probably sell them either way.
Nah. Well, here it isn't much of a problem because we don't have much of a used comic market, but
Beckham?
it's best to try to find somebody who is into the art form and give it to them. They'll keep what they want and they'll get rid of what they don't want.
Beckerman, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Al Barbarino.
Barbarino?
It's not Barbarino. I know that. But
oh, I know the artist. Yeah. It's the one who didn't he do Mad Spidey's Ghost Spider?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He's a good artist.
And here's some more for Beckham.
Who did that?
Paris Aldrin. So I'm just giving you some free content, Simon.
We were talking about ASM 300 before. This is
you were talking about ASM 300. No one else was.
That $1,000 copy doesn't shine like this one. This is like one of the best foils around.
Yeah, Becca, and more for you. I might catch up to your level one day.
Yeah, but Beckerman, he collects mostly like pages and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I might catch up to his level one day.
But this is a completely different type of art collecting. Because you get more commissions, kind of like Spidey. Who did that?
Chrome. Mike Chrome.
Oh, Mike Chrome. Oh, you'll show us again. Mike Chrome did that one.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
Not as much as you think. Surprisingly, I think Mike Chrome was about 200.
Really? I could have sworn he was more than that one. Oh, yeah, because it's got no color. If there was no color, maybe around that, I guess.
But also, I've been lucky. Like, I normally get into people before they start getting bombarded.
Do you organize them before the show?
No.
You just show up to the con and say, "Hey, can you do this?"
Yeah.
And he just give it to you on the same day?
Most of them do. Some send it.
We don't pay for sketches. We get a sketch when we ask for an autograph, but since they always personalize it, then it makes it easier. It would make it more difficult to sell, but they don't worry that much about it.
Yeah,
it all depends on the person here too.
At your cons, though, Polo, They don't charge for autographs, do they?
No.
Yeah, exactly. They don't usually here either.
But so this is a Portuguese book, Kong the King Volume 2, and the artist, who is somebody we really need to start exporting because it's that good. It did this amazing sketch. It did it pretty quickly. There are guys who, for this level of detail, they take forever. But this entire page is a sketch, and so everyone who has this book signed has a different sketch on this page. And it looks like even on the screen, it looks like it's the printed thing, but it isn't.
Oh yeah, so people are asking about. So years ago, they did that sketch. DC did those blank comic books, so they were literally a comic book with a sketch cover and blank pages. So Sean bought a whole bunch of them, and then what he would do is you'd actually get blank covers from other comic books and then turn them into a whole blank book as well, which is very, very clever. How much was it though, animation?
So that's another one from Al.
Oh, speaking of foils, there's another good foil. Oh, first Batman in foil. We noticed on Batman issue 1 that on the back there's this image and it says cut out in frame. So can you imagine how many people had Batman, the original Batman issue 1, and then they cut that out and framed it?
Yeah. It's like people who took the pinups out of them.
Yep.
That's all the art I have of besides the last one. That's too big. I got too much crap everywhere, Simon. I'm turning into you.
Yeah, well, I've got less piles of books around me now, at least because I've bagged them.
I'll unbox these eventually.
Oh man, those are the figures that have those weird faces, though, isn't it? That one's not that bad, but I'm pretty sure that line of figures has some interesting.
That's the one that has Aunt May that everyone takes the piss out of. And I don't think like the Cyclops one doesn't look great. That's Cyclops.
That one does have a weird face.
Yeah, well, it's also like, look at his body. Like, what is that thing?
Yeah, but this came out in like the freaking. When did it come out? Where is it? 99, Simon.
99 was.
I mean, it's 24 years ago, Simon. Quarter of a century, nearly.
They made better stuff than that in 99, mate.
Yeah, but not X-Men stuff.
Oh, have you seen the new figures they released for X-Men 92?
97, yeah, I'm trying to get it from the supplier.
They look really good. Oh, this one's too big too.
I've seen them at the con I was at in Canada. This is an original X-Men 92 figure. So
Sure.
you want to see bad faces and bad figures overall. So, all right. So you haven't
technology
seen
back then could do.
And this, I don't know exactly what the button on the back does. Makes him tick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When it works.
That's awesome. That's the best.
So,
actual action figures were the best. All those little alien ones I've been picking up, a lot of those have action things as well.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting there. Oh, too much foil. I don't think I paid for a sketch until 2006-ish. I wouldn't mind getting more sketch covers.
I didn't pay till 2020. So I've been doing it for 3 years.
Hey, Lee. All right, I'm actually not too far off from finishing up here.
You have enough bags and boards?
Maybe just. You can jump on Lee, but I won't be going for much longer. Just because I'm nearly done here. I was just going to finish the stream once I finish bagging and boarding, and I'm not far off.
He says that, Lee, but then he'll start talking for an hour.
His first one was Jim Lee. Jesus.
Who was my first commission? Can't even remember. I know my first one was an Australian. I think it was, my first one was my Deathstroke. I didn't show it this time, but yeah, what's his name? Now I can't even remember.
Man, how can you not remember these artists that you all get from?
I've got a nearly 30-something pieces now.
Yeah. Matt Spidey's like, he got a series where he's had like 50 artists so far.
Yeah. And he sits and plans it out and films it, not showing it live, and not even a piece I showed, so I can't remember what it was. I forgot what his name was. It'll come to me.
I stopped one on a backer board. Oh, backing board. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what they used to do back then.
What they used to just, would you bring a comic book, or would they just draw it on the backing board and give you a backing board?
No, you have it. You'd get the book signed, and most times you get them to do it. It's one of my bigger pieces. My She-Hulk.
Yeah, is that your own, like A3 style one, you mean?
That's one. I've got one other one. I'll grab it.
Art, the next frontier. $11 by $17. Yeah, that's the weird thing about artists as well, is the paper always, like, Sarah bought a frame the other day to frame her A3 print, and it didn't fit. Like, what? Isn't A3 just A3? All right. What do you got planned for the day, Paolo?
I need to write a test drive about the Nissan Ariya electric car, and then I'll have the Cavern of Chaos at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time, and at 11 p.m. British Standard Time.
Cool. Hi, Daddy.
Which to you is like you'll be sleeping.
I will be sleeping.
How's it going?
Not too bad, mate.
You want to see a cool comic that I found? Like I've had it for a while now, but I've been going through some comics that something I don't do enough is just dive through some short boxes and pull out random things to read. It's,
System of the Down.
System of a Down comic book. How fucking good is that?
They're doing, all those bands are doing what did I pull out? I just bagged one before.
This was a couple years back, this one. I feel like it was 18 or 19.
Check out this one. King Diamond.
They're all like real newspaper.
Those ones are, yeah. The Opus ones aren't too bad. The Opus ones did Cradle of Filth and like Halloween and stuff like that.
What publisher is this? No idea.
Oh shit! Who did that one?
This is what's his name? John Samariva.
Oh yeah.
That was his piece that he did to try to get DC contract.
Oh yeah.
Did he get it? He didn't get it, obviously.
He did, just not for the. He did this Teen Titans piece, but then he ended up doing Raven and Beast Boy or whatever that book was called, the one that came out not long ago.
Did you really?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. The one that was like for teenagers and stuff.
Nah, that one was trash.
No, was
Yeah,
that the
but
one?
that's because at the same time he did that piece, he did a piece for Marvel, and Marvel got back to him first. So he took the part at Marvel, and they gave the Teen Titans book to someone else. And then he ended up doing that Garcia, the one with Garcia, which
He
is
was He's a pretty cool dude. I spoke to him because I picked up Mad Spidey's commission, or it was actually Beck's commission, but we had a chat with him for a bit.
Yeah,
It
he's
was
nice.
weird.
I took my Neverlanders to get signed by him. Have you got that signed by him yet? Simon?
No, I forgot. So I didn't bring it that time, but yes, I've got Tom already signed it, but I want to get him to sign it too.
Mm.
Oh, do you want to throw a little remark there, huh? Yeah, throw in a little
I just
remark.
applied for a media pass of Supernova. I don't know. They seem like they're harder to get.
Well, the thing is with Supernova is if you get it, be prepared to get it the night before the event.
Exactly. That's happened to me so many times as
So
well.
every other time I would message Scott, who I know, who was like the event director, and it would come through pretty quickly once I messaged him. But last year, he was like, "Yeah, I'll get onto it." And then I saw him at the event. The guy I didn't get him, and he saw me at the event. He's like, "Did blah 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 get back to you?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, I'll have a word to him." I was like, "No, it's all good. Like whatever. You've got me in plenty of times. Don't fire the guy, please." But yeah, I applied for the Christmas Comic Con media passes.
Are they doing Christmas one again over there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last year, so it'll be interesting.
crap show.
Oz Comic Con always seems like the shitter one out of the two. Even though it was busy as fuck this year, it was just there's like no comic book creators. Like no.
Oz Comic Con probably run it a little bit better, but they just don't get the draw cards that the other places that Supernova does. They don't get the
What makes you think?
actors
What makes you think they run it better?
being on the inside as a seller.
But like
And
examples.
just the way they communicate.
more organized, you mean?
Yeah, just the way they communicate, the way they go about things, and that it's not like Supernova.
Yeah.
Yes, animation.
Beckman, that's pretty cool.
Shooters, so.
The House of Golden Bones was actually pretty decent. I was surprised that he could write a comic book. Have you read that one, Simon?
No, what was it called? House of Golden Bones. No, I have not.
It came out a fair few years ago now.
I'm going to run out of bags before I run. I'm going to run out of boards before I run out of bags.
When
Don't you
that
fucking
book,
hate that?
sorry,
What'd you say?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever.
I was just saying, don't you fucking hate that? Like, you run out of one before the other. It's like there's 100 in each pack. Right?
No, it's because one time I did, and yeah, it didn't make sense that I ran out of one before the other. But usually I run out of boards first, because some of the books I get from Mark, he gives me a bag for anything foil. He gives me a bag,
But not a board.
No. She's
Why?
up for that.
it'll cost you too much.
So My when I make my orders now, I do monthly orders and I get them at the end of each month. And there's an option to buy a bag and board for each individual comic. That's like 50 cents.
Yeah, a lot of places do that.
And I've just been doing it lately, so I don't have to think about it later. And it's worked out pretty good and convenient, and yeah, don't have to bag and board them all.
It would be good because I've been doing this for nearly 3 hours.
Just have to put a bit of tape on it, and it's sweet, you know. Hey, Paulo. I don't think I've met you before. I'm Leia.
Which person haven't you met?
Paulo.
Oh. Yeah, you usually don't. I'm in Europe.
Yeah. Paulo's been around forever, mate. I've known you since like early days, like when we were hanging out with Ken and Grey Man.
Yeah.
Like that was
we took advantage of COVID to just do stuff.
That was pre-COVID. That was well before.
That was pre-COVID. Where was it?
Well before COVID, man. That was like it was like when I first kind of found the community. I found you through probably the Grey Man, I'm going to guess. And yeah, we used to hang out, and every now and then, like I think Ken jumped on once, maybe. Ken's comic book channel. Good dude. Yeah. Speaking of which, look at this cover.
Could have been 17, 18, I guess. Was when I started to work from home.
It would have been like 2019, I reckon.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, I was. I was at the time. I was only writing but working from home. So I did my own hours, and I could show up at people's channels.
Oh my god, these books just keep going. I thought I got to the end, but no, I've got a few more. Oh no, I'm down to my last 2 boards.
Sad times, eh? Did you get
a scan them?
What?
Got to scan them all.
No.
I don't do that. I should do that though, because I have bought a couple of doubles and triples here and there without meaning to.
I'm going through my collection at the moment, and I'm surprised how I don't know how even Mark has given me doubles of books.
Yeah, I've got a lot of doubles, but it's because I choose to buy them twice.
Yeah, I'm looking and I've got the same cover 2-3 times, and I only buy new books from Mark. So
yeah, a couple of times Mark's put, because sometimes I don't know why, but the book shows up again, even though you've already picked it up, will show up on the list again. I'm like, no, I've already picked this one up. So I don't know why it does that.
Because it takes me months to actually scan them in and stuff. I didn't realize till now. So
yeah, I think you're right there, Nornrad, because Gerard Way's written some good comic books. Umbrella Academy, exactly. Is there any other? You know, actually, Grant Morrison started out in a band before he got into comics as well. He was a singer for a band.
Really?
Yeah. He wanted to make it big as a musician, but his band didn't go anywhere, so he got into some writing comic books. But I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Do you know any more Nornrad?
Dale Keown used to. Oh wait, Dale Keown used to be in the band.
Who was that? Sorry,
Dale Keown.
I don't think I'm too familiar.
He worked on. He got famous when he worked on the Incredible Hulk during Peter David's run, so that would have been late 80s. Then he moved to Image. He created Pitt.
Ah, yeah, Pitt.
Keanu Reeves is in a band.
No one likes Keanu Reeves.
Shut up.
And he's a bass player, so it doesn't count. He doesn't know how to write songs. Bass players can't write songs.
I mean, bass players often are like Nicky Six was the bass player.
Well, was Greg Capullo in a band as well? Really?
Motorhead was.
Fatboy Slim was the bass player.
Yeah.
Fatboy Slim was the bass player.
When are you going to write a book then?
Oh yeah, I was in a band. I'll write a book.
Yeah, you're a singer in a band too. See. Did you write lyrics?
I did. I wrote pretty much all the lyrics. I wrote I always wanted the other guys to write some songs, so I didn't have to write them all. And each person wrote. So I think the guitarist wrote one song, the drummer wrote one song, and the bass player wrote maybe 3 or 4. and then I wrote everything else. I sent some CDs to someone the other day. They reached out like, "Hey, have you still got any CDs?" Like, yeah. And he used to be in a band that we used to play with, so I was like, "Oh, I'll just send them out to you." And on the same day, I sent a package to Super Russ. 2 weeks later, Super Russ was like, "Hey, your package arrived today." Well, the guy who is local to me was like, "Hey, did you send those CDs?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And he only got them like yesterday.
Wow.
Russ has had his thing for like over a week.
Do you remember your favorite lyric that you've written?
Well, the first opening line to our album was "Get ready, cunts. Get ready, cunts."
That's poetry.
And
right
you
there.
and you wrote that, didn't you, Simon?
I wrote that. And I remember, I think it's that song, Luke, our guitarist, I don't even know how, he left a note for me one time saying, "You need to write a new song." And it was like, "Make it tough. Don't write pussy shit. Make it tough. Use words like whiskey, drugs, fuck, and rock," or something like that. So in one of the lines, I literally just used those words all in a row. Whiskey, drunk, fuck, punk, and rock, or something like that. I just used that whole as a one sentence. I was like, "There you go, mate. You happy? Is this tough enough for you?" So
That's
yeah,
great.
put it on a t-shirt. Yeah, right. All right, I'm all out of boards, so I'm gonna wrap it up.
What? I just got it.
Yeah, I know. I told you I wasn't gonna be here long.
Let's just go 4 more hours.
No, I'm not doing that. I considered doing I was gonna call it Insomniac Comic Book Cinema instead of theater.
Yeah, because we call it cinema here in Australia.
Do we?
We do. We don't say, "Well, you're gonna go. I'm gonna go watch a movie at the cinemas." We don't go. We're gonna watch a movie at the theaters.
I mean, you could say theaters, but we'd bash
You'd be
you.
wrong.
I guess before we go, you guys want to plug? Well, Paula, you already plugged your show. 6 p.m. is it?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern US time, 11 p.m. British Standard Time.
On whose channel?
On Jared Osborne.
There you go. Sean, you got anything you're going to be posting?
Done it all today on your show. You got the exclusive.
Excellent.
So,
Lee, what's going on, mate? Who's on 10 questions? I'm a bit behind. I'm sorry, man. I haven't actually watched the last couple. The Gem Mint one took me like 3 bloody different sittings to listen to it all.
It was only 45 minutes. You're complaining that they weren't all fucking long. Now I give you long ones. Now they're fucking too long for you.
Who's this week?
I'll have to check. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. Where is it? It's here. Let me check the list. We had Bleeker last week. You still haven't watched that. We got Beckerman. Beckerman's isn't even in the chat. Beckerman, you're next week, man.
Beckerman. There you go.
Beckerman. Beckerman's was just okay, so you don't have to watch that one if you don't want to.
All right.
If you haven't watched, did you watch Lady Fantastic?
No, that's what I'm up to. I think I started, but I didn't listen to it on
the
a
second
drive.
one of the season. You've only watched one.
I actually missed. I think I missed one from the previous season too.
Dustin, probably the last one.
No, I watched Dustin. Was it?
I've even got a song. You haven't even seen the your question yet. Oh, did you see it with Joe Mint?
Yeah, but he asked him about feet.
For you.
The funniest one was when you asked him about pus or cum or whatever. You were just like, "Oh man, you serious?" It's like, what? His response, because Jim's like a cool dude, So when you asked him that, he kind of kept it cool. He's like, "Oh man, really? Like, what? What are you doing?" That was cool.
Yeah,
So
I was a bit worried he wouldn't take the questions too well, but he took them like a champ, I reckon.
Yeah, no, he was, and he's very well spoken and stuff, and he's really cool, man.
He was.
Cool.
It was great talking to him.
And I'm positive you did a video once where it had like a Gem Mint video playing on like the laptop screen, and you blow smoke in it.
No,
never
there's a
happened?
little clip of it at the end, but I don't blow
Was it the
smoke.
very first video?
You can go back and have a look. There's a little clip at the end
Yeah, that's what I meant.
of Gem. Of Gem Mint, but I don't smoke. I blow smoke into it.
Okay. Was it the very first video?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
might have been the first two where I had a little clip of Gem at the end, but I
I
never.
I must have blown smoke on the screen then.
Yeah, I reckon it was you. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. CJ, you're too late, mate. Good morning. And
CJ's 10 mic questions was the worst 10 mic questions. I seriously almost didn't release that one because it was that bad.
you did though, right?
I did release it, but I almost didn't.
Yes.
I was just didn't have any other content for that week, and I thought I may as well.
Give a dog a bone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you anyone who tuned in, said a few things in the chat, and I'm gonna. Well, I'm still not gonna go to bed for a while, but yeah. Have a good night, guys. Not you guys. Everyone
Yeah.
else. Bye.
Oh, what about me?
Yeah, you too. Bye.